Mga nanay, breastfeeding can be so overwhelming, no? Like anything motherhood, hindi mo alam mga asahan mo until you're doing it. As moms, we try everything to give our babies the best. Ako, ginawa ko talaga lahat ng tips and tricks para mapalakas ang breast milk ko.
Lucky for me, I found Purest at the perfect time. With just 3 sachets every day, I feel the change sa aking milk supply. After a few minutes of drinking, ramdam ko ng letdown thanks to moringa and fenugreek, a good boost sa aking energy levels with the help of B vitamins, calcium, and iron para palakasin ang aking katawan. At na-improve pa ang digestion ko thanks to lots of fiber.
Purest is so easy to make at napakasarap pa ng chocolate and Rica hazelnut coffee flavors. With Purest for breakfast, merienda, or whenever I feel like it, I get all the nutrients to keep me stress-free, strong, and simply happy.
Feel pure love with every cup. Purest is the lactation drink trusted by breastfeeding moms.
The joy and beauty of motherhood begins at pregnancy. Then after 9 long months, we give birth to our bundle of joy. We experience a new kind of love. Unconditional at walang kapantay. Our heart expands. However, sa kabila ng lahat ng ligaya at kakaibang pagmamahal na nararamdaman natin, sabay rin ang pagdating ng iba't ibang challenges every new mom experiences. After magpuntis at manganak, we dedicate months of our entire lives to take care of our newborn babies. This is the hard part. Dealing with wounds in our body from pregnancy while taking care of our baby, lack of sleep from early latch and on-demand breastfeeding, body aches and nipple sores, feeling depressed and detached from the world. Kadalasan, during the first few months, we forget who we were before giving birth and focus on becoming the best mother for our newborn. Minsan makakalimutan mo ng kumain at maligo. All you can think about is your baby. That is why a strong support system really matters for all moms, especially those who are breastfeeding. Aside from your friends and family, you also have Purest. Purest lactation drink is every mom's partner in their breastfeeding journey. By providing you all the nutrients you need, mas mapapalakas ang breast milk supply ni mommy. Aside from that, we also nourish your body and help you recover and feel more empowered. Why? Because you deserve it. Purest contains moringa and fenugreek, age-old breast milk boosters. Meron ding B vitamins for more energy, magnesium to lessen the risk of depression, and fiber for good digestion. It also contains antioxidants and other powerful ingredients that will help you on your journey. Our 2 yummy flavors, chocolate and decaf hazelnut coffee, are perfect for all your cravings. Experience delicious flavors and amazing benefits with Purest, the lactation drink you can trust.
everybody. It is with great pleasure and honor to welcome you all here today at the amazing Breastfeeding Heroes webinar. My name is Mommy Dianne, Medina-Ilustre TV actress and TV host. And in line with the National Breastfeeding Awareness Month, we would like to thank Purest for sponsoring this webinar because it is one of the goals of Purest to share motherhood ideas and ultimately help moms in their breastfeeding journey. So before we formally start with our program, let's pray first. Lord, we thank you for gathering us all today so that we may learn more about what we can do to make ourselves and our children healthier. Lord, open our eyes and ears so that we may be able to listen actively and improve ourselves as better moms. Lastly, please guide our dear speakers so that they may be able to impart their wisdom well to all of us here today. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. All right, everybody, to all our online viewers, I'm sure you're all very excited today because today we are going to talk more about breastfeeding, and today is an exciting day for all the mamas out there because we will be listening to 3 famous mamas, and I am sure we will learn a lot from all of them. So mommies, we hope you all listen well to the speakers and advise you to get a paper and a pen so you can ready with all of your questions, because at the end of each session, we will be opening the floor for some question and answer portion. So we also hope that you stay until the end of the seminar as we will be giving away free sample kits of Purest lactation drink to everyone still present. So in between the presentations, we will also have games and prizes and giveaways. So please do stay until the end of the live stream. All right, mommies, to break the ice, let's have our first game. So the first 2 commenters will get a free box of Purest lactation drink in coffee and in chocolate and get a free boob mug each. So this is how it looks like. So here's our boob mug. There you go. So our first question, so all you have to do is to just answer your just put in our comment section box your answer. So our first question is, who is the major sponsor of this online webinar event? All right. Who is the major sponsor of this online webinar event? Ready, go! So, first 2 commenters po na unang makakasagot ng tama ay mananalo po ng ating boob mug. So again, please do comment down below your answers. All right, I guess we have a winner already. So let's just check. The correct answer is Purest lactation. So our first commenter is April Faith Gabrines. Congratulations, Faith. Our next winner is, we have Elms Ferrer. So the correct answer is Purest lactation. Once again, we would like to congratulate our 2 winners. We have April Faith Gabrines and Elms Ferrer. Once again, congratulations to our winners. So don't forget to send us a message to send your details to know how you can claim your prize. And to all who joined, nako, may chance pa kayo later dahil marami pa tayong mga giveaways and mga games for everybody today. So that was fun. Anyway, I'm sure you're all looking forward to our 3 speakers this afternoon. So now moving on to our first talk. She is the wife of a full-time minister, a homemaker, and a homeschool mom of 4, as well as a Lamaze Trade Certified Childbirth Educator, a Donna Certified Birth Doula, a Certified Lactation Specialist, owner of Birthing Beginnings PH. So she's also a seasoned speaker on womanhood, relationships, parenting, and homeschooling for the past 10 years. To know more about her, let's all watch this.
Hello, mommies. Hi, Dianne. Thank you for heading this. Thank you to Purest Lactation. Thank you for setting this up. Kanina, while backstage, I was looking at the comments. We are from all over the Philippines, o diba? So we have, merong taga CDO at dapat mga Bisaya. So maayong hapon sa inyong tanan. Maulan ba diha? Dire maulan kaayo. So maraming salamat for spending your day, your afternoon with us, mommies. I am Thammie C. Just like what Dianne said, I've been a breastfeeding mom. Bakit I have been? In denial ako na yung bunso ko nag-win na. I'll be sharing today based on a lot of your questions about milk supply, but more than that, I wanted to share my journey as well. I think among the many roles, the role that I really value is that of being a mom. And I want to congratulate everyone who is here, because I know that you are taking your roles as moms seriously. I want to congratulate you. Totoong hero kayo. Sobrang appropriate ng title natin as breastfeeding heroes. I think all moms are heroes. And so I want to start off this talk by introducing also my journey, as a breastfeeding mom. I breastfed for 13 years. My eldest is now 15 and my youngest is now 5, turning 6. And let me tell you, hindi siya, dito sa picture na to, the picture that you can see, parang siguro, parang, ayan, ang ayos-ayos na. Pero, the beginning of my journey was very difficult. Nung nanganak ako so 15 years ago, wala pa pong Facebook noon, mga mommies. There was no Facebook then. There was walang Facebook group. I did not know of any breastfeeding groups here in the Philippines. I was the first among friends to get pregnant and to get married and to have babies. So in terms of support from friends, wala rin ako noon. Yung internet namin noong mga panahon na yon, alam niyo yung dial-up, hindi ko alam kung may mga mommies dito na abutan niyo pa yung dial-up. Pero siya, para lang makakuha ng isang information. Ang bagal. So in terms of the information, I had to make do with old books. And it was really, I think my mom did not breastfeed. So when I would ask her about breastfeeding, she would just look at me. And then while we were talking, I remembered the times when I would have to stop. And yung breathing techniques na ginawa ko nung nanganak ako, ginagawa ko habang nag-feed kasi masakit, puro sugat. And in my mind, part to ng pagiging dakilang nanay. And I thought that pain was normal. And my mom could not do anything. She didn't know how to help me. So my first two, I experienced yata lahat ng pwede niyong ma-experience na common scenarios and difficulties when it comes to breastfeeding. I remember sugat-sugat. I remember pumping out pink milk dahil may sugat na, may dugo na. I remember there were times wherein I would get fever from mastitis and I had no idea what it was. And ang dami ko pang kwento for the first two, especially. It was really just misinformation. I remember when I first gave birth, somebody gave me a pump and said, "Mag-pump ka na!" So ako parang, sige! So, mamaya, marami pa akong kwento pala. Parang nauna na ako sa kwento ko ngayon. Okay, so marami pa akong kakwentong mga ganun mamaya. But with my next two, it was, dahil mas alam ko na, mas gamay ko na, may Facebook na, may mga internet na, ang dami ng information na bago. I remember it was a breeze when it came to my next two boys. But my son had to go to surgery at 3 weeks. My other son had to be in the NICU for 1 week after his birth. So parang akala kong gamay ko na yung breastfeeding, but it was a different set of challenges. And so I think all of us here, you are here because you agree that breastfeeding is hard work, right? You have experienced challenges. I think I'm pretty sure that most of us here have experienced challenges. But I'm not here to end with the challenges. I'm not here to end with the difficulties. And for those na buntis pa lang, I don't want you to get discouraged because mamaya ikukwento ko na there is a reward period after. Okay, and this is why I do what I do now. because I know what it's like to have the wrong information and almost give up, and finally have the right evidence-based information. I know what it's like to hear many different stories from all over, and I know what it's like to have support from people who have the right information and who will inspire me with good support and proper support. As we begin the rest of this afternoon, I want to start off with this. So it says here, sakto siya sa time ng COVID, sakto siya sa time ng ngayong puro usapan on vaccines. If a new vaccine became available that could prevent 1 million or more child deaths a year, and that was moreover cheap, safe, administered orally, it would become an immediate public health imperative. Breastfeeding can do all this and more. So this is taken from the Lancet. 1994 pa to, wala pang pandemya, but they have already proven breastfeeding can do this. I think one of the most protected group now or populations, hindi vulnerable yung mga babies natin if we breastfeed them because they are the most protected because of our breast milk. And I think for most of you here, you are here because you want to breastfeed. You are convinced of the benefits of breastfeeding. Tama ba? Based on the recommendation of World Health Organization and all the pediatric organizations, optimal breastfeeding includes early initiation, meaning umpisa pa lang, as soon as you give birth, that's the best time to start breastfeeding. And they recommend exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months at least of life. And they actually encourage breastfeeding for at least 2 years. Tuloy-tuloy lang, even if you are already feeding your baby's solids. Okay? So, laging natatanong, is my baby getting enough nutrients from my milk? Minsan, iba-iba yung yan. Minsan nakikita natin, parang malabnaw siya. Minsan, mas makapal na siya. Paano ko masisiguro na sakto yung nakukuha ni babying nutrients? And let me tell you, mommies, the nutrients of your milk, wala nang hihigit pa dyan. I think many supplements can try, but nothing can beat or can come close to the nutrients that the breast milk we provide our babies can give. And it's so interesting because the composition of our milk changes throughout the day, depending on the needs of our baby. If maulan, it changes. If mainit, it changes based on the needs of our babies. And we have seen there are many, everywhere you search, you can see how it can protect your babies from diseases, how it can protect you moms, right? From postpartum hemorrhaging, from even osteoporosis and breast cancer later on in life. And for the dads, sobrang matipid. So it is really beneficial. And most of us here, we know the benefits. And that is why I think we want to breastfeed, because we are convinced that breastfeeding is beneficial. However, many of us start, but very few of us persist. I want to show you just some statistics. No? It says here from Maternal Child Health Journal back in 2008, it says 55% of women initiated breastfeeding and 18% continued for at least 6 months. So ang tanong, what happened to the others na nag-start, right? World Health Organization also gives us some statistics. And this one, it's a bigger, kasi World Health Organization, so it's a good population that they've studied. Only 41% of infants under 6 months of age are exclusively breastfed. But they have found a big percentage or high rates when it comes to initiating breastfeeding. And the most recent one just published last year. And this is published in the Philippine context. This was published in the Asian Pacific Island Nursing Journal. 92% of children in the Philippines aged 6 to 35 months old had been breastfed at some time, but only 27% were exclusively breastfed. And I go back, 92% started. So why the huge fallout rate, right? And I think it boils down to one of the most common questions you would hear from moms. can I really breastfeed? Am I really one of those moms who are meant to breastfeed? Or baka hindi ako yun, baka sila lang yun, baka yung friends ko lang yun. And these are the most common questions. Can I really breastfeed? Can I really make more milk? Ito yung mga questions na sinend in ninyo, mommies, tama ba? Is baby getting enough milk every time they feed? Do I have enough nutrients for my baby? And all of these questions, we ask them out of a concern for our babies because we really want to give the best for our babies. That's why I really call you heroes, because you would do everything and you would want to give everything for your babies, right? And so I think all of us, we have that desire. But if the doubt is greater than the desire, then it can undermine the determination of moms to breastfeed. And let me give you the top 3 reasons why moms wean earlier than planned. First is pain. Gusto ko nga sana kung makita ko lang mga mommies ngayon, di ba? Gusto ko kung nakikita ko kayong tumutungo. Okay? Or sige, mag-comment na lang kayo dyan. Pain. Second reason is fear of not having enough milk. Or maybe biglang you see that baby keeps demanding more and you fear that maybe that's why baby's crying because my milk isn't enough anymore. And third main reason is the lack of support. And if you look at these 3 reasons, most of these struggles, it's mostly because of a lack of information. There are so many myths surrounding breastfeeding, and there's a faulty narrative surrounding breastfeeding, and mixed message siya. On one hand, some of the messages that we hear would be discouraging, na nakakatakot, na nako, ang sakit niyan, mommy, nako, hindi ko alam kung, and it's all fear-based. So ang ending, na-discourage tayo. And there's the other extreme side that all we hear is just, it's so flowery. And ay, grabe, bonding talaga kami ni baby. Mommy, gawin mo talaga, mag-breastfeed ka kasi super sarap. And biglang pag panganak mo, kala ko ba sobrang sarap? Tapos, bakit nahihirapan ako? And we become disillusioned. And so there are 2 extremes that we tend to hear. There's the disempowering message, and then there's the message that's so good, and then we get disillusioned because all of a sudden, I thought it was natural. I thought I didn't have to prepare for this. And then now I'm here and it's not that easy. And finally, let's remember the lack of support. Before, in the previous generations, they had older moms and older women surrounding them who breastfed. Nung hindi pa uso mga ibang means of feeding our babies, the women really breastfed. And so the younger women had it was normal for them. It was natural. They knew how to do it. They could see it in action. And then once it was their turn to give birth, they had older women, mga lola, mga tita, mga nanay, helping them with the chores, helping them so that they can focus on breastfeeding their babies. So that was the context before. Now, we are coming from a generation na hindi tayo lumaki seeing that. And lalo na ngayong pandemic, we are away from our families. So it's hard to look for that support. So if you notice, most of the struggles come mainly because of a different mindset or lack of proper knowledge and lack of support. So let's break down these different reasons why moms tend to wean earlier than expected. Again, I say they wean earlier than expected because many moms, we have different goals, right? We have different breastfeeding goals. So for some of you, baka goal nyo a certain number of months. For some of you, a certain number of years. So it depends on you how long you want to breastfeed, and it depends on your baby how long your baby wants to breastfeed. However, some moms and many moms set a timeline. Gusto ko sana makapag-breastfeed ako ng ganito katagal. But then they wean earlier than they wished or they set because of these reasons. And so I want us to look at these reasons. The first reason again is pain. And narinig nyo na siguro to, no? Pain is normal. Or naku, masakit talaga mag-breastfeed. Breastfeeding hurts. Ganon. Parang ako noon sabi, siguro kasi nanay, talagang kailangan lang masaktan. I-practice lang natin yun. And the fact is, you might feel a little discomfort at the beginning of a feeding, Yes, habang hindi pa sanay mag-breastfeed, it can be a little bit uncomfortable, but intense pain isn't normal. So pain and discomfort points to something that needs to be addressed or adjusted. So usually it is caused by the basics na improper position or improper latch. So if you experience pain, it is your body telling you, teka lang mommy, we have to adjust something and we have to go back to the basics, which is proper positioning and proper latch or a deep latch. Okay, so when we talk about proper positioning, bakit ba mahalaga na we get to have the proper position? And what is the proper position? There are different positions you can try, but the basic principle is to make sure that baby's chest or tummy is against your chest or tummy. Okay, so gusto mong buong katawan, yung buong harap ni baby nakadikit din sa chest and tummy mo. Okay, and we want to check that baby's ears, shoulders, and hips are aligned. Kasi tayo din naman, pag kumakain, ayaw nating nakatabingi yung ulo nating pag ganito, di ba? Gusto natin maayos yung kain natin. We're facing front, right? When we're feeding, when we're eating. So a proper position is important because for us moms, we also imagine you'll be doing that for most of your days. And so you want na maayos naman, hindi masakit for you. And more importantly, it will help baby achieve a deep latch. Okay? So now let's talk about a deep latch. What is a deep latch? Bakit? Paano ko ma-check yung latch ni baby? So first, I want to tell you that a deep latch is important for your comfort to protect your nipples from being damaged, lalo na habang lumalakas yung bagsak ni baby. And it is also important to have good milk transfer for baby para maayos ang pagkuha ng milk ni baby. Okay? So when we look at the deep latch, so meron ako ditong, can you see it well? A deep latch is one wherein we can see that baby's head is slightly tilted back and it's baby's chin that is touched, it's hindi dapat nakaganito yung chin ni baby. Medyo nakaangat siya. Parang pag umiinom tayo ng tubig, di ba? Mahirap na mauminom na nakaganito tayo. Umiinom tayo ng tubig, we tilt our heads back and our chin is off our chest. Okay, so we want to check that baby's whole mouth is really wide open with the lips parang naka-fish lips na flanged out. Okay, and we want to see, kaya asymmetric latch ang tawag sa deep latch, we want to see the bottom part of baby touching more of the breast, okay? So we want to check also, hindi lang natin tinitingnan si baby, chine-check din natin ano yung naririnig natin. Are we hearing baby suck and swallow? Ibig sabihin, baby's getting enough milk. Or are we hearing a clicking sound? If baby's just doing a clicking sound, then that means shallow yung latch. Kailangan nating i-unlatch using our fingertip na clean and tanggalin nyo muna yung suction by putting a finger at the side of baby's mouth and then try again. And then maybe nga fix the position. Okay? And then when we take off the baby from the breast, we want to see that our nipples are still rounded. Hindi siya na flat na parang dulo ng lipstick. Okay? So we want to see the round shape still. So that's for a deep latch. Number 2 reason why moms wean earlier than expected is fear of not having enough milk. And maybe some of you have felt this or thought this, my baby is always crying, I must not be feeding my baby enough. Or baka I can't make enough milk to exclusively nurse my baby. And we hear this quite often when moms start asking for milk for others, diba? From other mommies. Okay, actually, the fact is, babies cry for many different reasons. So, pag iyak na iyak si baby, hindi automatic na dahil hindi siya satisfied with your milk. It could be that masyado siyang gininaw bigla, tapos ang nipis pala ng suot niya. Or masyado mo siyang binalot at swinadal pa, yung pala ang init-init na, pinagpapawisan na. It could be that baby's diaper is already wet and full and baby needs a change. Right? Or baka masyado mong nilaro because excited, tas dumating mga lolo-lola, pagod na pala si baby. Or baka gusto lang niya ng lambing. Okay, so there are many different reasons why babies cry. And I want us to realize this because many times if we feel like nakuyak nang iyak si baby, we get discouraged and ayaw na natin mag-breastfeed kasi feeling ko, wala naman to eh, hindi ko kaya. Ayaw ni baby sa akin. Minsan pa may ganun pa with the hormones. We feel rejected by our, naramdaman nyo na ba yun? Parang baby, eto na, oh, but ayaw mo. Right? And we want us to have the right mindset na, oh, wait a minute. Baka may ibang pwedeng i-check kay baby din. Hindi naman to personal na ibig sabihin ayaw niya. Hindi ko siya nasasatisfy. Okay, we also have to keep in mind that babies have small tummies, so they will really feed frequently. And because they have small tummies, mabilis mabusog, mabilis din magutom. And the more baby nurses, the more milk that you'll produce. So babies actually helping you, especially in the first few days and weeks when they demand more milk. They're actually helping you, telling your body, Mommy, ganito kadami yung kakailanganin ko, ganito kadami yung gusto kong inumin. Okay, so let me just quickly go through the factors that can affect milk supply. First is physiological factors, meaning hormones. Especially in the first few days, the first week, and the first few weeks right after birth, the breast milk production is mostly governed by our hormones, namely prolactin and oxytocin. Okay, so, and malaking factor to, especially oxytocin, it is known as the love hormone, the bonding hormone. And ang oxytocin at prolactin, bumababa siya pag stress tayo. So, physiologic factors, yan yung umpisa. Yan yung nagsa-start na mag-produce. So, even if we don't tell our bodies know the moment the placenta comes out, okay, baby is out, now start producing the milk and start injecting the milk. The second factor is the physical factor. By physical factor, it means yung mismong anatomy ng breast natin. Okay? So, yung iba dito, iba-iba yung breast capacity, storage capacity. Now, I'm not talking about the breast size, okay? And that's one of the other myths na many would hear. Pag maliit yung breast, naku, baka wala masyadong gatas yan. Kasi maliit. Now, that is not what determines the amount of milk, okay? Kasi yung size nung breast natin, it's usually determined by the fatty tissue in the breasts. But that is not what is responsible for breast milk production. It's the milk glands, right? And the milk ducts that are there. So when I'm talking about breast storage capacity, para lang yang example, meron akong 1 litrong container ng water here, right? And example, gusto kong makaubos ng 1 liter. Now, if I use this 1 liter container, I can just drink up in one go. Isang upuan lang. Right? But if I have a 500 ml na lalagyan, for me to be able to drink up my need of a 1 liter na capacity, then I would have to drink twice. I would have to refill the cup and drink from it twice. So, ganun din yung breast storage capacity natin. Iba-iba tayo ng storage capacity. So, for some, isang upuan, isang breastfeeding session, okay na, puno na si baby. Yung iba, naka-4 ka munang breastfeeding na session, na attempts before baby is filled. And it's not because you're not able to produce milk, but it's just that iba-iba yung breast storage capacity natin. And our bodies and our babies would work together to adjust accordingly. Okay? So aside from that, another physical factor is also the law of supply and demand. Or mas appropriately, demand and supply. The more baby demands and the more baby orders milk from us, the more our bodies would produce milk for babies. Okay? So that is why it's important yung laging tanong, how can I make sure how can I boost my milk supply naturally? It's really, there's no other way but to keep expressing your milk and keep feeding baby your milk. So by expressing, meaning ilabas mo, have baby drink from your milk. Okay? And finally, psychological factor. And I cannot underemphasize this. Psychological factor greatly affects hormone production. Sabi ko nga kanina, kung stress tayo, oxytocin goes down, which means breast milk ejection is stopped. Okay? I remember I have a friend, lagi kaming sabay with especially with our third and fourth children. Sabay na kami, magkakabatch lagi. And every time she would see me breastfeed, and because we were neighbors, she would say, oh, buti ka pa, you have milk. Ako talaga, wala talaga. Sa lahat ng anak ko, wala talaga akong tuyo talaga ako. Ganyan. And I remember one time with our fourth baby, and this was the time she was also crying, wala talaga, hindi ko talaga kaya. But there was this one time we attended the homeschooling event. And we didn't have our babies with us because we were not allowed at that time to bring our babies, and we were out for that short period, but we had to express milk. So sabay din kami nag-express ng milk. Nagkukwentuhan lang kami, we were laughing. And at the end of our nursing break, breastfeeding expression break, she almost cried because for the first time, nakapuno daw siya ng milk bottle niya. And it was the first time ever after 4 kids. And she said, grabe, parang ngayon lang niya na-experience yung ganon. And what was the difference? The only difference was for the first time, she did not think about, naku, wala ako hindi yata enough yung supply ko. For the first time, she just let herself be and relax. And her body knew what to do. Her body produced milk for her baby. So, how do I know? Isa pang question that we also always hear is, how do I know baby is getting enough? And this is very important for us to know, because if we think that baby's not getting enough, what do we tend to do? We tend to supplement, right? What we call the top-up method. Iyak pa siya ng iyak. Subukan ko nga, baka naman pag binigyan ko ng gatas pa, tatahimik na siya. And what do babies normally do when we give them the bottle? Automatic, it's reflex. They would just suck and swallow because that's their reflex. Right? And what do moms tend to think? Sabi na nga she wasn't getting enough from me, that's why she was crying. And so, baby's tummy now expands before our milk volume comes in to supply din kay baby, proportionate to how baby's tummy expands. And so it becomes a vicious cycle. Okay? Our babies would know when they've had enough. So as long as baby is actively sucking and swallowing, keep feeding baby. And we have to remember again that babies have tiny tummies. And I want to show this photo by Latch, yung support group na Latch. And I like this because it's Filipino context, no? Day 1, kasing liit lang po ng kalamansi ang tiyan ng ating mga babies. And konting-konti lang yung kailangan nila. I remember when I first gave birth, somebody lent me a pump. And sabi, sa ospital pa lang dalhin mo na. Kasi baka hindi enough yung ma-produce mo. So baka para sure lang, ganyan. So ako naman, okay. So try ako. 30 minutes na ako nagpa-pump, ganyan. Parang wala akong nakita. Tapos tinignan ko, may konting-konting yellow. And I didn't even know that was the precious liquid gold that we all know about, the colostrum. So in my mind, 30 minutes na ako nagpa-pump. Ang sakit-sakit na ng breast ko. Ito lang. And I threw it away. And now, my present self wants to go back to the past and say, gusto kong mag-slow-mo at i-catch yung colostrum na tinapon ko at sabihin, no, please, no. That's precious and that's all baby needs. And I did not know any better. And so, dahil ako naman, natakot na ako na, konti. So, pump ako ng pump. To the point that I had an oversupply. I was getting engorged. I was getting fever because it was too much. Again, our baby's tummy would grow in proportion to the milk volume that our bodies will also produce. So learn to trust your baby. If baby still wants, then feed baby. Kung ayaw na niya, ayaw na muna. Nagutom ulit, o feed ulit. Okay? So the best way to check if baby has had enough is not whether or not dahil iyak lang siya niya. Kasi nga, that's what babies do. That's how they communicate. So it's really to cry, right? But yes, we can check if baby's satisfied for that feeding session, then that's well. But the best ways to check if baby is getting enough is if baby is progressively gaining weight, and if baby's wet and dirty diapers increases, the number of wet and dirty diapers increases by the day. Okay, so those are the best ways to check. So it's not a good way to check na, sige nga, tingnan ko nga gano'ng kadami yung milk na produce ko by pumping, because the pump will never be as efficient as our babies in terms of getting our milk. Okay? Number 3 reason is lack of support. And hindi ko alam kung, gaya ng sabi ko kanina, di ba, yung nako, mukhang hindi ka yata pang kasi mababa yung pain tolerance mo, di ba? O yung mga ganon, or ang liit ng boobs mo, sigurado ka ba magkakamilk ka? Or somebody would give you another option, right? Try mo na lang fill in the blanks, kung ano mang option bibigay nila. Pareho lang din yan, right? And we have to remember that the messages we hear can make or break our decision to breastfeed. And so we really want to be selective. No? So most of the advice that we will get moms, it really comes from a good heart. They really just want to help us also. But we also have to know how to filter the voices that we hear, especially now in social media. There are so many anecdotes. That's why kanina shinare ko that I had a photo of me taking up classes. Hindi ako nag-class, wala lang, gusto ko lang, wala akong magawa. In fact, 4 years ago when I took up training, I went to the US and Singapore to get trained. It's not because gusto kong iwan anak ko, ayaw ko silang iwan, ayaw kong umalis. But I really felt that I was so passionate in helping moms, and I did not want to base my advice on my experience or mga kwento-kwento lang. I wanted to get trained so that I can give evidence-based information, so that I can help parents make evidence-informed decisions, and I can give that kind of support. No, kasi I know the difference. I know what it's like to really have the right information and the right support. And so siguro a good thing for you to do is really to find people who you know have successful breastfeeding stories. And that's why you're here. And it's perfect that you will be hearing from other moms who have had challenges and yet also overcame challenges and found success along the journey. And this is another study, and this was in 2016 by Newby and Davis. Studies on women have identified breastfeeding confidence as an important variable in influencing breastfeeding outcomes. So breastfeeding confidence determines or has a lot to do with breastfeeding outcomes. So choose the narrative that you want that you will believe and take in. And yung iba, kung may well-meaning advice pero hindi ka sigurado, is this found on evidence or based on another story, then hindi mo kailangan i-absorb lahat. Okay? And I want to end our time together with just a few key things to remember. Madaling-madali because it's A, B, C. A is adjust. Again, if there is pain or discomfort, it means that maybe there's something that we need to adjust. It could be the position, it could be the latch. Or tingin natin, if na-try na natin and then may iba pang factors, at least we know, okay, there's something that needs to be adjusted. Letter B is bring baby to breast as often as possible. So again, this is where the law of demand and supply comes in. And finally, letter C, confidence. Trust your body and your baby that you are designed to give birth. So I go back to the question that we often hear, can I really breastfeed? Am I really one of those moms who are made to breastfeed? And I will answer with a big yes. You and your baby are designed to breastfeed. And this is my confidence. Millions of women have breastfed even before technology came in, even before science came in. Our whole human race thrived and survived because we breastfed our babies, right? And you are made and designed to breastfeed. And I want to end with this by encouraging you moms. Ito yung picture ng mga anak ko when, sabi ko kanina, di ba? Mahirap talaga sa umpisa kung hindi mo pa alam yung rhythm mo. Yung parang, paano ba to? Ano ba yung rhythm namin? But these are now my children. I remember we would often go on trips. So my husband's in the ministry. We would often go on, we would bring them sa kung ano-anong sulok ng kung saan-saang probinsya. And I remember there was even a time I had to travel with all four of them, just me and them, the four of them. And it was sa Mindanao to. So land travel, tapos Roro, tapos may sasakyan pa kaming maliit na bangka. And we were delayed. So from Manila flight, everything was delayed. First flight kami, 4 a.m. dito. Nakarating kami saan kami darating? 9 p.m. na. So the whole day I was traveling with them and I was nursing at that time. Pero kampante ako. Because alam ko hanggat kasama ko lang yung baby ko at kasama niya ako, hindi siya magugutom. Okay? So and ang saya lang. And I want to tell you, there is that adjustment period. Yes, it's a given. But there is also a reward period. And after that, you can bring them anywhere. Wala ka masyadong paraphernalia ang kailangan dalhin. And I want you to have a vision of that. And more than that, I want you to remember that yes, breastfeeding is normal and it's what is natural. It's the norm. But it is still a learned skill. So give yourselves the grace and the time to get to know your baby, to get to know yourself, and to adjust with each other. Okay? And finally, please remember that breastfeeding is not just about getting our babies fed. It is about developing a relationship with our babies and bonding with our babies. More than anything, I think the milk, the breast milk there will just flow out of that breastfeeding bonding relationship that you will have with your babies. Thank you for your time, mommies. And I really want, if you want to know more, we do have classes over at Birthing Beginnings PH. We have classes na hindi lang related to breastfeeding, but really adjusting to life after birth, even dynamics ng magpartners, how to prepare your home and your relationship for when baby comes, bonding with your baby, getting to know your baby's behavior and your baby's cues and patterns. We have just caring for your baby, getting to help baby with the sleep and all these things. Okay, so please do get in touch with us. If you have any more questions na hindi natin matatakal here in the rest of our time together, then feel free to message us at Birthing Beginnings PH on Facebook or Instagram. Thank you so much for your time. And stay pa kayo kasi ang dami pa nating matututunan from Feliz and Rica in our next sessions. Dianne? Okay, Dianne, you're still on mute.
Thank you so much, Mommy Thammie, for sharing your time, your story, and thank you for being such an inspiration to all the mamas out there. So to all our online viewers, the floor is now open for the question and answer portion for Mommy Thammie. So here we have our first question from Christine May Tayhopon. Mommy, normal po ba talaga na payat ang baby pag breastfeeding?
So, tulad ng tayo, iba-iba din yung breastfeeding tuloy, iba-iba yung frame ng ating katawan. Our babies also would have different frames, right? And how much fat they would retain, iba din. One of the things about breastfeeding, it is available yung nutrients niya. So wala masyadong nasustore na fat, unlike if we compare it with formula-fed babies. If we want to look at weight gain, what is important is your baby's own progress. What we mean by that is, usually when we go for a checkup, so minsan sabihin ni doc, okay, nasa ganitong percentile yung weight ni baby. We also want to make sure saan galing tong chart na to. Is this chart based on breastfed babies or is this chart based on formula-fed babies? Because yes, magkaiba yung norms nun. Okay? And what we really want to look at when it comes to weight gain is your baby gaining weight na maganda yung progress niya, yung curve niya steady. Hindi yung steady tas biglang bumagsak, then that's something that your doctor would want to look into.
Okay. Alam mo, Mami Thammie, talagang nakarelate din ako dun sa discussion mo kanina because I also exclusively breastfed my son, Joaquin. And talagang it was really hard yung pinaka-start ng breastfeeding journey ko. And it entails really a lot of hard work based from what you've said a while ago. A lot of hard work, sacrifice, commitment, and dedication. And it's really important that we get support, most especially from our husbands, kasi talagang draining siya. Nakakapagod siya talaga. And I must say, talagang nakarelate din ako dun sa sinabi mo na parang feeling mo, pag umiiyak si baby, hindi ka nakaka-keep up dun sa demands ng baby mo. So, you feel like parang, hindi ata enough yung milk ko. So, for me, to all the mamas out there, the breastfeeding journey, you can always, take a rest, take a pause, but never give up. Tuloy-tuloy lang talaga, lalo na para sa mga anak natin. Alright, so another question is from Rona Arian Romanes Panelo. Mommy Thammie, how about for babies that spit? Are they hungry after?
Spit up, you mean?
Yes.
I think she means spit up. So spit ups are fairly normal in the sense that it's because our baby's digestive system is not yet that fully developed. So medyo normal siya. I would look at hindi kulang, but kung spit up, even if mas naka-upright na right after feeding, then you might want to look into if you are supplementing, then it could be that baka hindi na pala kailangan magdagdag or mag-supplement pa ng milk.
Ako, Mommy, I have a personal question from you because ito yung naging parang notion ko before. Well, nasa breastfeeding journey ako. Marami kasi nagsasabi na kumain lang daw ng kumain ng madami para talagang dumami din yung breast milk mo. Is this true? Because what happened to me was, I was eating so much, tinamaan naman yung system ko. I had acute pancreatitis, I had fatty liver, ang daming lumabas na sakit. Because yun nga, I kept eating and eating kasi nga, I want to produce more breast milk for my baby. So, ano ba yung tamang kainin lang ng mga mommies? Kasi we have this notion na when we eat so much, we produce a lot of breast milk. So, ano ba yung tama lang, yung recommended for moms?
That's a very good question. And because yung ibang moms din, ay parang ayoko mag-breastfeed, ang daming bawal. Yung maraming ganun, at either kain ka lang ng kain, ito dapat ang kainin mo o bawal. So parang ang daming, iisipin ko na nga, yung pagod na nga ako, ang dami ko pang iisiping bawal at kailangan, right? So that's a very good question. The beauty about how our bodies are designed is, kahit nga, let's say in the areas wherein moms are malnourished, they are still able to produce the best milk for their babies because our bodies know they will now get from our store. So the question, how much should I eat? Eat to nourish yourself. If you're well nourished, then your body will just produce good milk. Even if, ito yung naano ko, even in the areas wherein the moms were not well nourished, they were still able to produce good milk. Because ganun kagaling yung design ng katawan natin. Yun lang, it's really for our sake. Kasi if we're not properly nourished, then our bodies will get from our stores of calcium, our stores of iron. And so tayo yung mawawalan ng nutrients. Oo. Yung body talaga natin, alam niya, aalagaan niya talaga yung babies natin kahit anong mangyari. Covered talaga si baby.
Mommy Thammie, ako ulit may question. So ako na talaga nagtanong. Ang dami kong tanong, kaya I'm so excited. So thank you, Purest Lactation, for, for doing this initiative para sa mga mommies dyan to learn more about breastfeeding. So anyway, Mommy, ito, kasi during my breastfeeding journey, they say that to be able to produce more milk, kailangan daw, meron tinatawag na parang strategy sa pumping. parang you will trick the brain to produce more milk. Is this true, or would you recommend this? Kasi sometimes people would say only latch lang is the key to produce more milk. But others say, oh, you have this parang pumping session magic wherein you pump 10 minutes and then you rest and then another 10 minutes. Actually, I did that. But pareho lang din naman yung result. But I just want to learn from you also since mas matagal ka na talaga sa breastfeeding journey. Nagulat nga ako nung sinabi mo kanina parang you've been doing it for such a long time already. So, yun. Is this true? Nakakatulong ba talaga ang breast pumping to trick the brain to produce more milk?
Yes. We go back to the law of demand and supply. So if we express, the more milk we express, the more our brains would think, okay, mas kailangan pa pala. So that is also why moms, I also want to encourage moms kasi what happens is, di ba Dianne, ang dami nating nakikita sa social media, di ba? Yung
Yes.
ang daming nakastore na milk. So feeling natin, dapat, for me to be successful in breastfeeding, I need to be able to store that much milk too.
Correct.
So, magpapump ako ng magpapump hanggang ma-achieve ko lahat to. But the reality is, we're at work from home, hindi mo naman masyadong iiwan si baby kasi pandemic tayong lahat. So, there's really not that much of a need to be able to store a lot of milk, right? We want to have just right na amount. So, the question, is it true? Will it increase your milk supply? Yes, it can still increase your milk supply. However, we go back again to the other principle, psychological factor. If you keep pumping and you keep looking at, naku, konti pa rin. You are now, you're releasing stress hormones.
That's right.
Na feeling mo, hindi ko kaya talaga. So it becomes now a downward spiral. Yung iba naman, uy, parang dumadami na. Ayun, nakakatulong, dumadami, na-encourage sila. Right? So these are different factors that come into play. There's the law of supply and demand. There's the psychological hormonal factor. So again, I want to encourage moms, the goal is to have enough milk for your baby. Hindi kailangan mama cow na parang may storage, may chest freezer. Uso na ngayon, may chest freezer tayong napakadaming gatas.
Pero
Diba?
alam mo, Mami Thammie, since you've mentioned about social media, I guess it's nice also to bring this up to all the mamas out there to not stress yourself. Do not compare yourself to other moms because we have different body types, we have different body condition. Kasi yung iba tendency when other moms kasi when they post na ang dami talaga nilang milk, people, moms usually would tend to parang, bakit ako wala? Isa na ako doon. Guilty ako dyan at first. I was really comparing myself na, buti pa to, napakadami niyang milk, paano ko ma-achieve yun? So, I would feel bad about myself. And then at the same time, I just gave birth. And then, there's postpartum depression, there's anxiety, halo-halo na, and not being able to produce more breast milk for my baby. Doon ako nahihirapan. And doon ako talaga nagkaroon ng downtime period talaga na, I had lactation consultant, ginawa ko lahat. I was taking so much lahat, just to produce breast milk. And then, come to think of it, ang pinakakilang dito, based from what you've said, Mommy Thammie, is just, don't stress yourself. Just relax. And breast milk will flow out from your breasts naturally. Yun lang din pala talaga yun. Because during that time, kasi di ba we tend to compare ourselves to others. Lalo na sa social media ngayon. Kasi di ba iba post kasi ng post, sana all, maraming milk, di ba? So anyway, Mommy Thammie, another question is from Heidel Andrea Bryan. Mommy Thammie, napaghihinaan ka ba ng loob nung wala kang natatanggap na support from your relatives?
Oh yes. And I think nasa sa atin din yung kung hindi ko makuha to sa relatives ko, maghahanap ako ng kaibigan na pwede kong matanungan or alam mo yung I think it's up to us also to reach out because lalo na everyone's busy, everyone has different concerns. I cannot sit and wait for someone to reach out to me and ask how I am. I think there came a point wherein parang nung una, diba, and I think one of the things that we have to overcome is feeling ashamed to ask for help. Mommies, it's okay to ask for help, right? And so there was a point where I had to go and admit na kailangan ko ng tulong. Sinong pwedeng, but at that time talaga wala talaga ako masyadong kilala. As in, this is really why I'm doing this. Kasi ramdam na ramdam ko yung difference. Nung first two ko, wala akong kilala. Wala akong mahanap. Yun nga, walang Facebook Friendster pa lang noon, nung time na yon. Alam niyo pa ba yung Friendster?
Yes, of course.
Wala pang any, Tapos, ang bagal talaga. But I remember, I think it was just one person who I finally was able to get help from. And I felt the difference, even if I was still struggling. But yung knowing there's somebody there doing it with you, supporting you, cheering you on, that was the turning point for me. From then on, I wanted to be that person to other moms as well. And kaya parang feeling ko, kahit tapos na akong mag-breastfeed, feeling ko nakiki-breastfeed ako sa mga,
Yes.
parang I'm still on a breastfeeding journey in the sense that I'm journeying with other moms. And I really want to help moms with
It's
their
also your
story.
advocacy rin naman kasi talaga to help other moms as well. And I admire you for that, for starting Birth Beginnings PH. Because, you know what, Mommy, during the pandemic, kasi doon ako nabuntis eh. So I gave birth also in the midst of pandemic. So it was really hard for me because I don't have anymore my mom with me. Wala na rin akong mother-in-law. They all passed away. So it's really hard for me kasi I started really from scratch. Nangangapa ako basically. Wala akong alam. So I'm glad that there are so many mom online communities like itong ginagawa ng Purest Lactation to reach out to all the mamas out there to actually raise awareness about the importance of breastfeeding. And I admire, of course, Ate Thammie talaga, Mommy Thammie,
Yes.
for sa mga ginagawa mo, your advocacy and even your Birth Beginnings PH kasi ang dami talagang natutulungan. Which is, ato na, our next question, our last question from actually pregnant mom siya, Mommy Thammie. From Shell Cruz Vocal, Mommy Thammie question, 8 months siyang pregnant. Can she already prepare yung supplement niya for breast milk? Pwede na daw ba siya mag-take?
Ng supplements.
Yes.
So this is how I really look at supplements. I look at it for your nourishment. So you want to have good stores. Kaya nagustuhan ko yung mga ingredients na okay, it's really for mommies to have good stores para maraming mapagkunan yung ating in terms of milk production. Okay? So the question of can I take? Sure, why not? It is still good for, to have good stores of ngayon pa lang for health purposes. So I go back pa rin, why do you want to do it? Is it because you're still fearful that you don't have what it takes to produce milk? Because if you're still fearful, then you can take all the supplements you want, but your mindset, the production of your hormones, because of your mindset, it can still affect the outcome of your breastfeeding and your breast milk production. So I go back, yes, go. Kung gusto mo mag-take na, go. But have confidence. Don't take for the reason na, naku, para lang sigurado, kasi baka hindi ko kaya.
But would it help?
Now, I'll refer to studies, okay? When it comes to, I looked at the ingredients would be good for overall nourishment and health ni mommy. We look at Western studies, they would say inconclusive yung mga pang-increase ng milk supply. But we see a lot in Asian, and this is where Eastern medicine na hindi naman based on evidence pa kasi wala naman masyadong studies gumagawa. Pero we look at Ayurvedic practices, pati sa Chinese, mga filcha, yung Getlai. We have herbs that are really, para through time, have shown they can help boost the milk supply.
Okay. So again, it's also best to consult your OB-gynecologists about this. If you're gonna take something, lalo na you're pregnant, so it's really best to consult also physicians. Anyway, thank you so much, Mommy Thammie, for your time. Maraming salamat. Continue to inspire a lot of mamas out there. So again, please to follow Birth Beginnings PH. Do you have any message before we end this conversation?
Yeah, I just want to encourage mommies again to enjoy your breastfeeding journey. Huwag masyado magpa-pressure. Minsan lang to. So we don't want to base and live our lives dahil naghahabol tayo, dahil pressured tayo. Instead, we want to live our lives because we want to enjoy the time that we have with our babies. Thank you so much for your time. I salute you, mommies, for being here and for pursuing breastfeeding. I salute you for doing what you can, doing your best and giving your best for your babies.
Thank you once again, Miss Thammie. Thank you so much for joining us today. Maraming salamat. Alright, now moving on, syempre to just sum up what Miss Thammie said a while ago, again, would like to remind everybody, for those of you who have just tuned in, that this August, we celebrate National Breastfeeding Awareness Month. So this is actually an observance to raise awareness about the importance and to further promote breastfeeding in our country. So as what Miss Mommy Thammie said a while ago, breastfeeding provides long-term health benefits, both very beneficial for the mom and for the baby. So again sinabi kanina ni Miss Thammie that breast milk is the natural first food for the babies. So it provides all the energy and nutrients that the infant needs for the first months of life. And it continues to provide up to half or more of a child's nutritional needs during the second half of the first year and up to 1/3 during the second year of life. So just to give you a quick rundown of the benefits of breastfeeding to mothers, syempre nakita naman natin yung benefits na nakukuha para sa mga babies, and syempre pati na rin kay mommy. So it lowers the risk of breast cancer, helps mother to lose weight faster, reduces mother's risk of developing osteoporosis, prevents or stops postpartum hemorrhage or postpartum hemorrhage rather, natural contraceptive. It's also important, sinabi to ni Mommy Thammie kanina, that husbands and even relatives or friends or loved ones support mamas who are doing breastfeeding, because this is to actually help them and support them with their breastfeeding journey para mas mapadali po, because again, breastfeeding entails a lot of hard work and sacrifice. So para sa mga daddies dyan, yung mga husbands, supportahan po natin ang ating mga asawa. Pwedeng help around the house, reduce stress for your partner, and make sure she gets enough rest. I'm glad Daddy Rojun, my husband, nako siya na ang tumutulong sa akin for diaper change, pag magpapaburp si baby. So parang hindi na rin ako masyadong stressful or maraming iniisip if I need to breastfeed baby Joaquin. So anyway, so if you really want to breastfeed your baby, again, it really entails a lot of dedication, sacrifice, and commitment. And in order for the mothers to succeed their breastfeeding goals, they need optimal amount of support from all aspect of care. Pwedeng sa bahay, hospital, facility. So protecting breastfeeding is shared responsibility from family, friends, nurses, and of course sa community. So again, we hope that you learned something from Mommy Thammie. So guys, please do check out, of course, our Facebook page, Purest Lactation. Please do share our live stream para ma-share pa natin yung importance and health benefits that we can get from breastfeeding. And again, our comment section box is open for more questions para pa sa dalawa nating speakers. Alright, moving on. Let's have another game, mga mommies! So the first two commenters will both win a box of Purest Lactation drink. So we have here in chocolate, and we also have here in hazelnut latte coffee flavor. So we also have here our boob mug. So ito yung mga pwede ninyong mapanalunan, mga mommy. So again, first two commenters. So paunahan po ito. So just type in your answer in our comment section box. Our question: what are the two yummy flavors of Purest Lactation drink? Ready, go! So, kung sino pong maunang mag-comment sa ating comment section box will win our Purest Lactation drink. So, nasabi ko na kanina yung two flavors. All you have to do is to just type in. Our first winner is JDG Chua. So, the correct answer is Choco and Hazelnut. Congratulations, JDG Chua. So, we're looking for another winner. All right. Oh, we have Trisha and Leopoldo. Congratulations to Trisha and Leopoldo. So don't forget to message us so we can send us your details so we can, for you to know on how you be able to claim your prizes. All right. So tuloy-tuloy pa rin tayo. Naku, ang dami na natin mga comment sections sa comment section box. Hello po sa inyong lahat, to all the mamas out there. And of course, hello to our almost 210 live viewers on Facebook. Hello to everybody. I also shared our live stream to my page, www.facebook.com/hostings by Dianne Medina. Now, let's move on to our second speaker for today. Ito na. Our second speaker is a mompreneur and an artist. She and her husband, JJ, practice intentional parenting in a hybrid of different curriculums to fit their homeschooling style. She is a mom of 4, all delivered via cesarean section, and a breastfeeding mom up till now to her youngest child. Wow. She's the co-founder of Lucas Studios and author of the book More Than the Most, The Story of Courageous Katie. She completed coaching at End of Life Seminar and is an international certified grief coach and master of certified coach. She attended seminars in understanding depression at St. Luke's and Cardinal Santos Medical Center, completed personal grief coaching by Kathy Babao, and lastly, coaching, courage and grief, life's healing choices for the bereaved and depressed. To know more about her, let's all watch this.
Hi. Hello. Hi, can you hear me? Ayan, okay. I hope you can hear me. Okay, sige, I'm gonna start. Grabe, yung what Thammie shared, everything is just so real. Looking back at the stories, back at her sharing, everything was exactly on point. Yung parang oo na lang ako ng oo. Parang oo, totoo yan. Yung exactly questioning our milk supply, and then yun pala, kailangan lang kalamansi lang pala yung tiyan ng baby natin at the very onset of, at a newborn. And a lot of pressures really happen around our environment, our family, our relatives. We even pressure ourselves na we want to be the best for our children, but we also question if kaya ba natin. So here I am, as Thammie shared about the physical aspect of breastfeeding. Today naman, I want to share how that physical situation or the environmental factors also and what happens physically greatly affects then our emotions. So today, ayan, I'm going to share with you about postpartum depression. Share natin. Okay. Can we share screen? Ayan. So, I'm going to share with you about postpartum depression. Paano mo ba malalaman kung meron kang PPD and how will you overcome it? So, ang postpartum muna, let's define it para the more we understand something that we don't know, the more that we will be less likely to fear it. Mas magiging prepared tayo. Hindi man tayo magiging ready sa lahat ng circumstances na mangyayari sa life natin, pero we can be prepared. So what is postpartum? Postpartum simply means ito yung time after childbirth. So pwedeng postpartum dress, postpartum meals, postpartum lifestyle. So at especially at this time, it's also meron ding postpartum depression. So yan yung pag-uusapan natin today. Ang dami talagang, it's a new normal, especially during this pandemic. There's a lot of challenges as a new mom, or now that you're preparing to give birth to your beautiful child. So, ang daming challenges, and these challenges can actually also give us the breakthroughs that we need. So, looking back when Thammie was sharing every single detail of breastfeeding journey, parang naalala ko nung exactly every year na yon, but parang ang hirap-hirap, but parang ang sakit sa puso. But then now, as I look back, na-realize ko, wow, those were actually the best times of my life. Yung parang sobra akong naghirap, pero I was able to see things through with the help of support from the family, and support not just from around them but with the Lord. So and I was able to discover myself then because of that journey. So these are my children, and ito yung journey ko. So with my firstborn, it was very difficult when I gave birth to her because my husband got um was going through medical situation as well. So ito yung mga times din na umiiyak ako, parang I needed emotional support, but I needed to give emotional support to my husband. And ito rin yung time na, shucks, akala ko prepared na ako for breastfeeding, pero ang sakit pala mag-latch. Yung kailangan kong humawak ng mahigpit or minsan na pumapasok na yung kuko ko sa kamay ng ni JJ na asawa ko kasi sobrang sakit or talagang napapasipa ako sa ang sakit ng pain for the very first time. And I would cry myself to sleep na parang nakakapagod na pero parang bakit gano'n? Ba't parang iyak pa rin ng iyak pa rin siya ng iyak. So I didn't know what to do. So with my second born naman, and then eventually parang sabi ko, ano ba 'tong nangyayari with me? Parang maybe I'm just putting so much pressure on myself and I really felt guilty. Sobra akong na-guilty with ano nangyayari na bakit hindi ako sobrang happy. And eventually somebody reached out to me. Parang ano lang, "Uy, halika mag-coffee tayo." Sabi ko, "Hindi, kailangan ko kasi I need to feed after 2 hours." 'Di ba? Kailangan ko mag-breastfeed after 2 hours. At sabi niya, sige, mabilis lang, ganyan. At ano lang, check up lang on you. So, sinabi nila na, maybe you're going through postpartum depression. So, I didn't really believe on postpartum depression before. Sabi ko, hindi, kaya ko yan. Parang, ano lang yan, mindset lang yan. Kailangan mo lang yan maging cheerful and joyful. Pero, yun pala, it was really greatly affecting me. So, the moment na na-acknowledge ko yung na I was going through postpartum depression, I was able to be more mindful kung ano yung nangyayari sa paligid ko. With my second born, Ethan, what I experienced, sabi ko, nako, hindi na siguro mangyayari yung postpartum depression kasi na-experience ko na. Pero ito yung time sa kanya, iyak naman ako ng iyak na hindi ko maintindihan ba't ako iyak ng iyak. Tapos kailangan ko pang turuan yung firstborn ko and I have to do my work. So I was just really crying myself to sleep then. And this was the time that my eldest also got sick. So bigla ko na-cut short with breastfeeding na bigla na lang ako nag-awol with my second born because of breastfeeding because I had to attend to my firstborn. With my third born naman, yung experience ko sa kanya, sabi ko, nako, na medyo nagka-PPD na talaga ako for my first 2 kids. Kailangan prepared na ako for this time. At I was going to grief din. So I was more prepared to find anong pwede kong gawin to prepare myself so that the experiences of depression will not really greatly affect me and the people around me. So, ang dami kong mga na-discover at it really greatly helped. So, i-share natin yan later. At for my fourth born, ang dami, diba? So, iba-iba talaga yung journey ng every child. So, for my last naman, since I was more prepared and I saw kung ano yung effective for the 3 kids, I continued to do it and like nag-gelay ako, tapos nag-placenta pills ako and I had a really change of lifestyle at nag-purging ako ng kitchen. So, it's really important on nutrition and the right kind of nutrition. So, I will share that with you also later. So, here, I want you to look at my screen right now and I want you to see, ayan, you can still hear me now. I want you to check and write down in the comment section ano yung nafe-feel mo right now. So I will go through the list at you just list down identify first. Are you going through baby blues? Are you going through PPD already? So usually at the first 2 weeks of giving birth, meron tayong adrenaline high, di ba? Na parang, oh yes, I have so much energy, kaya ko to, hindi ako natutulog, gising pa rin ako, and I can breastfeed, and I can do this, ganyan. But on the 3rd week, medyo naantok na ako, napapagod na ako, parang ganon. So, and then, eventually, parang napapansin ko, tumatagal na, 6 months na, 8 months na, but parang ganito pa rin yung nafe-feel ko. So here, I'm glad you're here right now because it's an opportunity for you to really understand what's going on with your body.
Alright, so later, babalikan po natin our second speaker. All right, for now, again, mga mommies, we encourage you to please do share this live stream. Again, our Purest lactation to know more about breastfeeding. So again, we have prepared a lot of surprises for everybody today. Of course, get a chance to win our lactation Purest in chocolate flavor and our lactation Purest in hazelnut latte. So we also have our boob mug here. So guys, please do comment on our comment section box if you have any comments, suggestions, or questions to our two speakers. So now, while waiting for our second speaker, again, let's play a game first. Okay, just comment down below. Of course, magkakaroon tayo ng question and answer portion later. And again, we have prepared a lot of surprises for everybody today. But anyway, kwentuhan ko lang muna kayo about my journey since nabanggit na nga ni Miss Feliz Lucas kanina about postpartum depression. I remember, ako talaga 3 months after giving birth, I had postpartum depression, I had so much anxiety. Hindi ko alam mga mommies kung nakakadagdag ba yung feeling na nasa gitna rin tayo ng pandemic, yung fear na syempre you want to protect your child, your baby, nandun na rin yung takot and anxiety. And at the same time, ako talaga, kasi ako, I'm a very religious person. So parang yung mga tao sa paligid ko, least nilang iniisip na ako yung magkakaroon ng postpartum depression. Pero parang hindi pala ganun yung nangyayari. Parang hindi ko maalam. There's this feeling of sadness and emptiness inside. I was crying so hard every day for no reason at all. Kaya takang-taka ko, bakit ganito ba yung nangyayari sa akin? So, anyway, yun yung mga na-experience ko about postpartum depression. So it's nice to know that Miss Feliz later on will discuss more about that. Para tayo mga mommies, we're always prepared. So anyway, let's just move on. Magpa-raffle muna tayo. Or later ha, mamimigay po kami ng mga prizes. Of course, we have here lactation, chocolate, and in hazelnut cafe. Alright, so at this point, mga mommies, dyan lang kayo kasi nga marami pa po kaming ipapamigay sa inyo ng mga free lactation Purest sample products. So stay tuned and make sure, don't forget, and stay until the end of the live stream. So eto ha, let's move on to our next speaker muna. Alright, so she is an actress and has been married for 11 years. Actually, I look up to this person and she's my good friend. A mom of 2 boys and also exclusively breastfeeds her 2 sons, and up to now, his youngest. Grabe, ang galing naman. She has a mission of making women understand that while motherhood is not easy, it is worth it. She also believes that there is power in coming together with your shared experience in a way to overcome the difficult stages without having to deny a single thing. And that is why she is joining us today to share her own motherhood experiences. To know more about her, let's all watch this.
Ayan! Hello, everybody! Okay, I'll just fix my... Okay bang aking... Ayan. Dito ako sa gitna. Okay, mga mommies, I'm just so happy to be here today. It is one of my passions in life to talk about breastfeeding, perhaps because it wasn't really like a walk in the park, or baka medyo walk in the park, Jurassic Park nga lang. Joke lang. Di ko po kayo tinatakot. Before I say anything else, gusto ko lang po sabihin sa inyo na I'm here to encourage you guys. But also, I want to give you a download of the realities of breastfeeding, because it's not really, but you know, when you look at pictures, you feel like, wow, parang ang ganda naman ng breastfeeding, gagawin ko yan. Tapos pag nandun na kayo sa reality ninyo, parang iisipin nyo, parang may disconnect dun sa nakita kong picture. So I'm gonna talk more about that. But before anything else, I just want to show you. So this is a picture, or the title of my talk, The Dream and the Realities of Breastfeeding. Okay, sa ano pa lang, di ba ganyan tayo, merong dream, tapos pagka nakita mo na, nag-swipe ka na, Okay. Iba pala talaga in real life yung nangyayari. But there is really a dream also to breastfeeding. A while ago when I was listening to Feliz and also Thammie when they were talking about the hormones and all that, it really gives you a very joyful feeling. And I think that so many breastfeeding moms get addicted to this because precisely it's a hormonal thing. Kumbaga, may chemical reaction talaga yung buong katawan ninyo pag nagbe-breastfeeding kayo. And you're gonna know more about that as you research, as you get more informed about breastfeeding. And this is an amazing, amazing step for you to take to actually register for this, to get to know more about breastfeeding and to hear stories. And we're here to give you and share with you real experiences kasi ang minsan parang kapag ka textbook lang, hindi mo masyadong ma-feel pa or maintindihan eh. Pero kapag ka nakikinig ka sa storya ng isang nanay talaga who went through it, it makes you relate more, di ba? And understand more. But before anything else, I want to show you a picture of my family. So this is my family now. There you go. So there's me. There's my husband. Di po yan si Boy Abunda. Ano po yan? Si Joseph po yan. Yan ang aking asawa for already 11 years. And these are our 2 kids. So Philip is 7 years old and the other one is 2 years old. And in between, kung nagtataka kayo bakit ang laki ng gap nila, we actually tried having more babies. But unfortunately, I got pregnant twice in between and I miscarried. And that I share that here because one, I don't ever want to forget my other 2 babies that I'll probably meet in heaven. But also at the same time na para ipakita sa inyo yung differences ng experiences natin. Kasi minsan, like my firstborn, I had no problem at all. I got pregnant and I was fine. There was nothing wrong. And then all of a sudden, by the time that I got to my second pregnancy, parang okay, hindi na siya kasing dali nung first ko. And then the third, also, it kind of repeated the second. And this is not to make you feel afraid or anything, no? I'm just establishing the differences that could happen between children. And when I got to the fourth, can you imagine how many years after having my first child, ibang-iba na rin yung season ko sa buhay. And I say this because both of them, itong dalawa kong anak, ay na-breastfeed ko po successfully. But, success can be achieved in different ways, different paths. I cannot say that my experience will be exactly your experience, and that's not what I want you to take away from this talk, because it's never going to be exactly the same. You're a different person than me, and our children are also different from each other. Ito nga lang dalawang anak ko. Galing naman sila sa iisang nanay. Isa lang naman ang pair ng dede na pinagkuhanan nila ng milk. Pero bakit magkaiba ang experience? And that's what I'm going to talk about today na both of them were success stories and they were achieved in very different ways. But before that, I wanna frame this talk with, kasi I was asking, sabi ko, ano ba ang kailangan nilang malaman? Itong mga mommies natin na nag-register. And one of the questions there is that how do you prepare yourself for breastfeeding? And I think that's a very good question. And I think that's where everything starts because the short answer to this is there is no possible way that you can prepare for everything that will happen during your breastfeeding journey. Yes, you can have information. Yes, you can attend talks like this. But when it's already happening to you, you're still gonna have to continue learning na kasi doon mo pala, kumbaga parang application to di ba? Pag pumasok ka sa eskwela, pumunta ka doon, nagko-course ka, may tinuturo sa yung teacher mo, pag uwi mo, nasagot ka ng mga whatever assignment niya sa'yo, mag-exam ka, paglabas mo ng university, doon mo palang ma-apply lahat ng bagay. And that's what's gonna happen to you. So, for the moms who just gave birth, I'm pretty sure you already kind of know what I'm talking about na, wait a minute, I learned so much already before, but I need to learn again because it's a very different thing when it's already happening to you. But it doesn't mean that you can't prepare. There are ways of preparing. So how should I prepare myself for breastfeeding? Okay, yan ang ating unang tanong. Maybe, pakita ko na lang muna sa inyo yung mga pictures na makakapag summarize ng sasabihin ko. So here's a picture. That's me. So it's my firstborn yung, so I don't know how you say it. You probably, basta yung nakatawa pa ako, ganyan. Yan. Firstborn ko yan. Tapos yung dalawa na yung pareho yung suot ko, that's gonna be my secondborn. And here in the next slide is going to be me breastfeeding in the different parts of the world. So one is Utah, one is Cambria, one is Korea. Wow, ang social, di ba? Breastfeeding around the world and smiling pa. At yun talaga yung usually nakikita nyo, lalo na nung nag-breastfeeding week. Parang, ang gaganda naman ito mga artista, mga influencer na to na mag-breastfeed ng mga anak nila. But then, come to the next slide. This is the reality. Okay, ha, never before seen photos of me breastfeeding. That's the reality of breastfeeding. That's the picture na nasa couch ako or nasa parang lazy boy ako. That was my firstborn. And I was having a hard time with the latching process. And wala pa nito yung engorgement ko. Ano pa lang, latching, ganyan. Sabi, ipitin daw, ganyan. So, I'm trying to apply things, little things here and there na natutunan ko before ako manganak sa firstborn ko. And then, itong nasa gitna, that would be my firstborn also. Yung naglilikot na sila. So, yan pa ang iisipin ninyo that the baby is not going to be the same age for the whole time that you are breastfeeding. They are developing, they are growing. So, they're gonna be a very different person by the time that you are 6 months into breastfeeding, or 7 months, or 8 months, or 1 year, or 5 years old. Diba? Hindi kami umabot ng 5 sa firstborn ko. Hindi ko alam kung aabot kami ng 5 sa secondborn ko. So, just for reference, my firstborn, I breastfed him for 2 years. And we were able to wean without any issue. It wasn't very hard. I think he was prepared already and ready to wean by the time that he was 2. And then my secondborn, he's already 2 now. No signs of wanting to wean. And you will be surprised because he was the boy wherein I thought, ito kahit 6 months lang maitawid ko, okay na ako, masaya na ako. But look at us, we're already 2 years into breastfeeding and we're still going strong. Mga hindi pa siya bibitaw. And the other picture is my secondborn naman. Yan, mas malikot yan. Actually, let's go to the next slide. This is my second. No, sorry. This is the third, this slide naman, nakita nyo. Yan, nagluluto ako. Meron ako iniintay ng mga manok sa oven. Yung nasa gitna naman, yan yung bagong panganak ako dun sa secondborn ko. And you know, I was really having a hard time. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And you have to think that this is my second time. And I was thinking, siguro naman alam ko na to. Nagawa ko na to dun sa first eh. Pero, hindi pa rin pala. And if you look at the other picture, I don't know if the new moms can relate. Diba? Most of the time, yung parang babagsak ka na lang kung saan-saan dahil sa pagod. Nakakapagod po talagang mag-breastfeed. Tapos, ang hindi nila alam dyan, you feel sticky, you're sweaty, you have milk all over. When I was breastfeeding my first and second born, there were days there when I wouldn't wear a shirt, like yung nasa gitna, kasi nagpapa-air dry ka ng mga sugatan mong nipples. But we'll get to that later on. Next slide. I want to show you a video. Is this gonna play? Can we play the video? Does it play? Para lang makita nila yung isang matinding reality ko po pagdating sa breastfeeding. Hindi yata nagpe-play. Okay lang. Ang kwento po ng video na yan ay para po siyang nag-gymnastics habang nagpapa-breastfeed ako. At lahat po ng mga kaibigan ko, pag nakikita nila yung anak ko na ganyan, ang tanong nila, hindi ka ba nasasaktan? And amazingly, I don't get hurt. You would think na ang baby na ganyan, yung malikot, tapos nakadangle sa'yo, parang masasaktan ka. Actually, hindi na. After a while, your body just I guess it gets used to it. And, you know, the things that hurt actually are not these things. So we'll talk about that more later as I go through my points. But the next slide, please. Yan. So balik tayo doon sa sinasabi kong dream versus reality. So yung dream, ganyan. Makikita mo lahat ng mga pictures ng mga nanay at mga anak nila na parang ang babango nila, na ang dali-dali mag-breastfeed. Pero yung reality nga, yung kabila. Yan po yung mga panahon na I will not wear a shirt because, you know, my my nipples were just really blistered badly. And ang lagi na masasabihin sa inyo pag ito ang nangyayari ay apply breast milk and then air dry it, which is very, very effective. However, it doesn't really happen overnight. Huwag po nating expect na, okay, ginawa lang natin ng isang araw, bukas okay na tayo. Hindi kasi ganun yun, lalo na in the very beginning. I heard Thammie say earlier that, it shouldn't be painful as you get older into it. In the first few weeks, it's normal. But if it's painful all throughout, then maybe it's time to check, is there something wrong? And like I said earlier, na talagang may mga realities ito na, oo, may joy na kasama, pero meron ding challenges. I have to first begin with why. Bakit ba? Bakit ba mahirap, di ba? Well, what we often overlook is that this is a big change in your life. Okay, can we flash the slide, please? Why this is a very big change in your life. Siguro ito yung na-overlook natin. Naakala natin, plug and play lang po ang breastfeeding. Na ilagay mo lang dyan and everything else will work. But actually, marami pong nangyayari, maraming variables ang breastfeeding na hindi lang po yung inyong breast ang involved. Marami katulad ng naiisip ba natin na the child is also just learning how to feed from you. Hindi naman niya to inaral ng 9 months sa womb mo eh. So, he or she, your little one, will have to get used to, okay, how do I suckle correctly? How do I stimulate my mom's breast effectively? Those are things na ginagawa niya from his or her end, habang ikaw naman may ginagawa rin. You're getting yourself prepared, you're putting nutrition into your body, so you have more to give, and you have yourself to give, na hindi ka na uubos sa iyong anak habang nagbe-breastfeed ka. You have to also incorporate the fact na kapanganganak mo lang, ang hormones mo ay raging. It's all over the place. I always tell my husband, you guys always say, ang mga lalaki ay loka-loka. Paano hindi ka maloloka kung hormonally ang daming gumagalaw sa'yo, di ba? And this is a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Your hormones are largely responsible for the way that you can give nutrition to your kids. This is also largely responsible for you feeling good about what you're doing to your kids. So lahat yan I'm always amazed na napakaganda ng design po ni Lord sa ating mga katawan. I'm pretty sure more or less meron na kayong idea of how the breast milk, ang galing, no? Na hindi nyo kailangan ng ref. Fresh ang gatas ninyo anytime that your baby suckles. They get that fresh milk and you don't have to bring a cooler. You don't have to bring all of that paraphernalia para lang maibigay nyo yung best. And none in the world, though they have tried to copy the formulation of breast milk, none will ever compare to the fresh direct milk that they get from the breast. But, this could be a pressure to you, no? Dahil sa dami na nga ng iniisip nyo, isipin nyo, paglabas ng baby nyo, wala siyang ibang pagkukunan ng nutrisyon kung hindi ang gatas ng ina. And, that's a dreamy sounding thing. And that's an amazing design by God. But it doesn't really work kumbaga, it's not hassle-free for everyone. It doesn't happen without challenges, especially for some. Yung iba, talagang maswerte. Pagka tinanong ko yung mga ibang kaibigan ko, ikaw ba, nung nag-breastfeed ka, nasaktan ka? Hindi daw. Yung milk mo, dumating ba kaagad? Hindi rin daw. Sabi ko, okay. So iniisip ko, baka ganun din sa akin. But it wasn't like that for me. I mean, there were days when I felt like, okay, I have zero milk. What do I do then? And if I am the sole provider of breast milk for my child, can you imagine just or nutrition? That's their food. Di ba? Wala naman sila ibang pwedeng kainin. Di mo naman pwedeng subuan ng apple. Di mo rin kahit i-mash mo pa yan by 1 month, 1 week old, a baby cannot take that yet. They can't take solids. I think the earliest that they can take would be 4 months. And that's like what? 4 months of thinking, how will I give milk to my baby? And that's tremendous pressure. I hope you acknowledge that this can affect you. The pressure of thinking about that. I'm not saying that you should be pressured, but that it can happen. Then you can prepare yourself na, oo nga no, I'm in a very fragile stage of my life. Kapapanganak ko pa lang. If na-CS ka, so na-CS ako sa first ko, so added layer. Naku, na-CS na nga. Yung pangalawa ko naman, normal birth, although I was in labor for like 25 hours. And so I got so tired. So parang all of those factors put together, hormones, yung way na nanganak ka, kung may problema ka pa, and later on, no, dadaanan natin yan kasi magkaiba nga yung experience ko sa mga anak ko, kung gaano ka-different po yung seasons ng buhay natin also matters in the success or the lack of success in our breastfeeding. We think it's only about the breast and the breast milk and the baby and you, but there's so much more. You know, God has designed us to be like whole beings, and we have to function holistically. Hindi po tayo pwedeng one part lang okay, and then sa ibang part hindi. We have to admit that everything affects one another. So why is this a very hard? It could be very hard. If it's not hard for you, then great. You know, you don't even have to listen to this. Just be encouraged that, you know, God has given you a stress-free journey. But for those who are having a hard time and who might have a hard time, just remember why? Because this is a big change in your life. And any change will require some adjusting. Di ba? Nag-a-adjust pa po tayo kahit pa sabihin natin na pangalawang anak na, pangatlo. First time mo magkadalawang anak. First time mo rin magkatatlong anak, di ba? So parang you have to think about those things, that this is a transition phase in your life, and you have to do it while you are breastfeeding. So we got that out of the way. I'm going to talk about some particulars when it comes to my two kids. So let's start with the firstborn. So this is my picture with my firstborn. That was yung unang latch niya, di ba? Yan yung parang, wow, na in love talaga ako kaagad. Pagkita ko sa kanya, ang gwapo ng anak ko, dito mo talaga malalaman na kahit na ano pa yung itsura ng anak mo, gwapo siya sa paningin mo pag nanay ka niya. Well, you know what? Actually, that's different for everybody, ha? I've heard of stories na yung first thing daw na naisip nila, paglabas ng anak nila, ay, ba't ang pangit? And you know, I'm not going to say that's wrong. Remember, again, let's go back. We are largely hormonal. So many things are changing. We've got factors all around us. Maybe, you know, we're not having a good day with our husband, or our families are in a mess. And later on, you're going to see that with my second child, what I was going through was I lost my father. I lost my father at that time, and that greatly affected my breastfeeding journey. And so, don't think that just because ako, nagwapuhan ako sa anak ko, tas kayo hindi, mali na kayo kaagad. Hindi po ganun yon. Tandaan natin, our hormones affect the way we think, affect the way we see things, and sometimes we can't help it. And this is why later on, I'm going to give you suggestions on ano bang pwedeng gawin pag nangyayari itong mga bagay na to. But as for my story, briefly lang, with my firstborn, I was okay until I experienced engorgement. I didn't even know the term engorgement, and to think na nagklase na po ako before this, may inatanda na akong talk about breastfeeding, and I was like, go, go, go! I'm going to breastfeed my child. Nung na-experience ko na engorgement, ano to? Bakit para akong nilalagnat? Tsaka ba't parang ang tigas-tigas po ng boobs ko? And that was what we called engorgement. On top of that, I had very sore nipples. Sugat-sugat siya. And you know, that's the experience that everybody gets in the first 2 weeks, na parang nagka-curl yung toes mo, tapos takot ka na dahil pag nag-latch siya, ang sakit. So yun yung mga naranasan ko. However, with the help of some lactation masseuse and yung ating arugaan community, na pinuntahan po ako ni Nanay Lita, tinuruan niya akong mag-massage ng aking breasts to stimulate the milk and to actually let it flow. And also yung paano nga ba tinuturuan ng bata mag-latch, anong positions ang pwede kong gawin. After that, it was all a breeze. I healed probably around my second, third month. Ayan, napaheel na ako. And then from there on, no more problem. I was just like in the pictures. Yung nakikipagkwentuhan sa ibang tao habang nagbe-breastfeed ng bata dito. And I loved it. I loved it. I would always say that my deepest sleeps happen when I'm breastfeeding my child. You might think that's dangerous. Of course, no, you have to stay awake in the earlier parts of the baby's life because medyo yan pa yung hindi pa nila nagagalaw yung ulo nila. Pero yung sinasabi ko po yung later on when they're much bigger and they can move their heads when they can't breathe and stuff like that. Yun yung parang ang sarap po ng tulog ko pag nagpapadede ako sa mga anak ko. Kaya nga po yata ako na-addict. And when I weaned him, I didn't want to. But, wala eh. Gusto na nga asawa ko na. So, kailangan na nating mag-honor naman ng mga gusto ng mga asawa natin. But, you know, I am pretty sure if we knew more back then, we would have extended it. But, you know, past is past. I'm not going to dwell on that anymore. All I can say was that it was hard in the beginning, and then later on, it was just a breeze for my first child. And for the next picture, this is my picture with my second child naman. That's Manu. Oh, di ba? Oh my gosh, pag nakikita ko yun, yung pictures you can smell. So that was my, well, not naman the una. I think somewhere in the middle na to, kakapanganak ko pa lang. Of course, only latch. Yun na yung natutunan ko yung only latch. Unlike my firstborn ko kasi, naniniwala pa ako dun sa scheduled feeding. And later on, I'm going to share what I think about those things. Scheduled feeding ba or hindi? But this one was like only latch all the way until now. So that was our first. And everything was, you know, everything is okay and dreamy in the first day. And then, comes the second day, third day, fourth day, ito na yung kailangan ko yata ng tulong. So I could already feel that, you know, the same old, I needed somebody to help me. And I made Nanay Rich naman from Arugaan also come in and help me. The pictures that you saw earlier, yung topless ako, that was a picture taken by Nanay Rich. Sabi niya, ito yung mga positions na kailangan mong tandaan kapag nagpapa-breastfeed ka para maging relaxed din yung katawan mo. And he was okay until we were told and somebody noticed that because we were having a little bit of the problems kind of parang, is he feeding effectively? Okay ba siya? And they noticed that he had a lip tie and a tongue tie. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that. But some kids can have severe lip tie or tongue tie. Yung tongue tie, yung pong parang meron kang skin dito na nakadikit. And yung tongue tie naman po, ito yung dila nyo. Tapos yung lahat naman tayo meron yan. Pero yung iba severely na sobrang kumbaga halos yung dila niya hindi niya na maiangat. And the dila is very important. The tongue is very important when they're trying to stimulate milk from your breast. And so, we discovered that just like the firstborn also had it, but our pedia felt like, you know, you don't really have to do anything about it. I think he'll get by. Let's see na lang if you have problems. And he never naman had problems. I think that was one reason why nasusugat po ako kapag nagpapadede ako ng mga anak ko. It's because of their tongue tie. But some kasi can get over it and they can outgrow it, even if you don't do anything about it. However, with the second child, we felt like we needed to do something about it. And he was lasered. Ni-laser po yung kanyang tongue tie. And of course, you can just imagine, 1 week po na hindi po kami natutulog ng asawa ko, nag-shifting kami dahil iyak ng iyak yung anak ko sa sakit. But we all decided na let's do this because it will really, really help him breastfeed more efficiently. And he was fine until he turned 4 months, and I can't forget this. It was almost, what was it, Christmas Eve? Papadede ako. Sabi ko, bakit parang hindi na yata siya happy dun sa nakukuha niya. Iyak na lang siya ng iyak, mukha siyang gutom. And nung lumaon, nakikita namin, katulad ng sinabi ni Thammie, one sign that your breastfeeding journey is not working out as it should be, as the way that it should be, is yung kanyang ilan ba ang wet diapers niya? Nakakapoop pa ba siya? Diba, alam niyo po yan, pagka naging magulang kayo, ang sineselebrate niyo na po sa buhay ay yung ilang beses nakapupo yung anak ko. Yay! How funny, no? Now, before you get married or have children, you're like, poop is like, oh, don't talk about that. Pero pagka meron ka ng anak, yung parang, yes, nakawiwi siya today. Yes, nakapupo siya today. And that was one sign that we knew something was wrong because he wasn't producing enough wet diapers, and we knew that we had to do something about it. And later on, I realized that this was what you called, babasahin ko para tama yung aking late onset of decreased milk supply. I actually learned this term from Dr. Jack Newman. You can follow him on Facebook. Actually, he's got he's got moms following him already. He's a staunch advocate of breastfeeding, and you really learn a lot of information from him. And information is power. I'm gonna talk about that again later. But yeah, and then I lost my milk, and I was devastated. I went through several phases, but to make it short na lang, nag-resort na po ako sa relactation. Dahil parang feeling ko na ubus na siya. Talagang ang ginawa ko is yung alam niyo yung lahat na lang ng pangpagata sa mundo ay ininom ko, and I would pump, I would do everything just to get that milk back. And then he was on the bottle, so the first one he had the bottle and then he quit on it Parang may mga ganung may mga ganung bata na minsan din kasi I think that's what we overlook, no? We think it's all dependent on the mom. But the baby has to cooperate. Your child has to cooperate also. So like, even if I wanted to give him the bottle, the first child, he just wouldn't take it. So parang inisip ko, paano gagawin ko? Ayaw niya na nung ilang beses lang siya uminom sa bote, tapos ayaw niya na. Parang sabi ko, magugutom tong batang to kung hindi niya i-take yung bottle. So I started breastfeeding him directly, and all the way sabi ko, okay, let's quit the bottle. It's not gonna work with him. For the second child naman, because he couldn't get anything from the breast, that I resorted to the bottle. I didn't want to. I can still, in my mind, there was that, I had a great experience with my first child. I don't want to not give it to my second child also. But reality is reality. I can't force him. I can't force the issue or the scenario to be exactly the same way that it panned out with the first child. And so I had to deal with the givens. I gave him the bottle kahit na hindi ko masyadong gusto. And I just settled with the fact na, sige na, magpapatry na lang ako mag-relactate. Maybe you're thinking, kung nagpaparelactate ako, ano yung binibigay kong gatas? Of course, I entertained the thought of, bili na lang tayo ng gatas kasi nasistress na po ako, nasisiraan na ako ng baet. Sabi ko, this is not good for my mental health. Feliz will talk about postpartum depression, and I think that I went through it myself. I was so anxious. I was not in my right frame of mind that I said, you know what? If it will help me to be a well mom, a healthy mom for my child, to actually give him, formula, sige, gawin na natin yan. But there was, because of the tremendous amount of help that I would get from my support people, my community, that nalaman ko may isa pa palang option. Ano yung mga options dyan? One is that you can actually ask milk from mommies who are blessed with abundant milk. And I actually got donations for my baby. And I was just, yung talagang naiyak po ako na marami palang maming ganito, na willing silang magbigay ng gatas na mula sa kanila, na sobra-sobra iniipon nila para sa iba. And nabuhay po ang anak ko for several months with these donors, and I will never forget them. I would always be grateful to God that, I never had to give my baby formula in the beginning parts of his life. Well, hanggang ngayon naman, di pa rin naman siya nagawa. Ang many times po, naisip ko na magfo-formula na yung anak ko. Pero hindi kami umabot doon dahil po sa support ng community. And so we went through that phase na nag-donor siya until I was able to rebuild my supply, and I was able to give him na the breast milk from my breast. But he would still take it from the bottle. However, I did something very different here. And I think that's the part of me that understood what breastfeeding is all about. Breastfeeding is not only about breast milk po. Kasi ang iniisip natin, yun lang pong nutrisyon. Pero meron pong bonding na nangyayari sa inyo ng anak ninyo. And I did not want to let go of that. I fought for that. I said, you take the milk from the bottle. But after that, you take your comfort from my breast. And I kept naku, sabi ko na nga ba, maiiyak yata ako pagka sinabi ko tong storya na to. But when I would put him on my breast, I said, it doesn't matter if the milk is not being transferred from the breast directly. But I can have him on my breast for as long as he wants. Kahit 3 oras dyan, makatulog lang siya, makuha lang niya yung pagmamahal ko, yung init ng katawan ko, okay na ako doon. Nagsettle na po ako doon, and I wanted to keep that bond. And I kept doing that for many months, and I can't forget, it was December. He was already, around 6 months. When he started refusing the bottle, and I was shocked. Sabi ko, bakit nag-refuse na siya ng bottle? Saan na siya kumukuha ng milk? And I realized that he was getting milk from me. And yun yung parang breakthrough ko talaga, na parang I surrendered this to God, na sabi ko, Lord, I don't want to be legalistic about this, or like, just because others can do it, I'm gonna force it upon myself. Pero hindi ko naman po talaga story. But when it happened, I was like, thank you, Lord, this is a miracle. I never thought that he would really come back to the breast. For food, he was on the breast for comfort, but he was not there for food. But apparently something happened in there, and that was a success story of my story with the second born, na after everything that had happened, he was able to come back to the breast. And I know that sounds successful. I want to see your faces right now. Baka naiiyak na rin kayo, or parang nagulat kayo na ganun paling story ko with my second born. But it doesn't end there. My gosh, my problems extended until when he was 1 year old, and I was still struggling, na parang, okay, the breast milk doesn't really seem to come through pa rin the way it did with the first one, or the way that I want it to happen. But nilaban ko po ng nilaban. Ano yan na nung nag-hit siya ng 6 months, pwede na siya kumain. So pwede na, at least, hindi na siya sobrang magugutom kung hindi sobrang daming milk yung nakukuha niya sa akin. And we kept fighting for it until he was like he was past 1. I remember being in the States, and I just felt like, okay, there's something wrong again with my breastfeeding. I feel like he's not getting enough milk. And then at one point, I think one of my problems kasi is an effective letdown. Yung letdown po is yung pagkatapos stimulate ni baby, bumababa na po yung milk na ganyan. Para wala na siyang masyadong work, i-receive na lang niya pagkatapos niyang stimulate, di ba? Parang feeling ko meron akong problema dun sa part na yon, na hindi nagle-let down ng maayos. But, and there was a point there when he was like way past 1, and it wasn't happening, na nainis po yung anak ko, and he bit parang he got angry, not at me, of course, he wasn't angry at me, but he was just so frustrated. He bit it, and my nipple had a wound. And that wound was like, I didn't think it would be bad in the beginning. And then later on, nung nagsasakal na siya from it, sabi ko, sobrang sakit nito. As in, iiyak ako. Tapos ang ginagawa ko na lang po ay nanonood ako ng K-drama para malagpasan ko yung sakit na nararamdaman ko. Pero later on, when I looked at it, wow, it was really bad. I'm not going to describe it anymore, so as to not to scare you. But I had to stop feeding him from that breast, and then just let him feed from the other until the wound heals. And I did all sorts of things to naglagay po ako ng ointment para mag-heal siya, and eventually it did. But it was such a stressful part of my life, and I didn't think na malalagpasan ko po yun. However, we are now here where we are today, and we are breastfeeding without any problems, and I'm just so glad that I fought for it. So those are my 2 stories. And now that you're hearing how hard it was for me in the beginning, and then also for my second child, how it was kind of like that for about 1.5 years, what helped? Doon tayo sa tanong na, ano ang nakatulong? So, we're gonna go through a couple of things, just a couple of words. Actually, yung iba po na nabanggit na po ni Thammie, so I'm not going to go very deep with it, but the number 1 thing that you need is support. So, can we flash that on screen? So, support. So, meron po ako nilagay na mga IG handles there. You can follow them already. Actually, isa FB, Arugaan. Yung isa naman IG ng The Parenting Emporium. And yung isa is Nurse Joyce Martinez. Why these people? Actually, marami pa namang iba. Including Thammie, of course, and Feliz. Because, I mean, you're probably already following them. Even Thammie's birthing beginnings, please do follow because their knowledge is precious and their help is precious. These that I put on screen, yan po talaga yung mga pinagtatakbuhan ko nung talagang nahihirapan na po ako. And iba din po talaga yung may kausap tayo. Minsan kasi parang the books have a lot of information but you can't really ask a book back na parang, okay, I'm reading you right now, but this is what's happening to me. So which part of what you're saying is happening to me and what should I do? But if there is a person that you can talk to, then they can respond to your problem directly and in a very personal way na kung ano talaga yung kailangan mo. So sa Arugaanan, dyan ko po nakilala lahat sila, Nanay Rich, Nanay Lita, na nagmamasahe po sila at ituturo nila sa inyo yung mga basic positions. They can actually, I'm not sure lang now kasi it's pandemic, but before they would go to your house and observe you, how you breastfeed your baby, and then they will tell you what they think is wrong, how you can improve it. Di ba po? Para tayong may school, kailangan kasi talaga nating, akala natin, it's just like what I said, no? It's a plug and play. It's not. There are many ways. When we are supported by our community to do this, we will also thrive. So ito po yung mga sa online makikita natin, tsaka yung mga talagang merong mga information or services na pwedeng maibigay sa atin. Pero aside from that, I would like to reiterate yung sinabi ni Miss Thammie kanina na parang, di ba makakarinig tayo na, oh, maliit yung boobs mo, or parang hindi ate nakakakuha ng maraming gatas sa'yo si baby. Siguro well-meaning naman po talaga sila. Pero minsan yung mga ganun comments, ang lakas po kasi talagang maka-discourage. And you know, like what Thammie also said earlier, when we're not relaxed, our bodies cannot produce the milk that we need to produce because we're just so stressed. Remember, hormones. Pag hormones, tumataas ang cortisol, wala tayong oxytocin. Pag wala tayong oxytocin, hindi bababa ang milk. So, maaring may milk kayo, but stress prohibits it from being transferred and going down to your baby. And this is why support is very important kasi ito po ang magbibigay sa inyo ng health mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So, sino yung mga ganyan natin? Even yung mga husbands natin. Kaya nga when I invited people to this talk, I said, please bring your husbands because they are a very important part of your breastfeeding journey. I wouldn't be here today if my husband was not 100% supportive of me breastfeeding my children. He did everything. If it meant na siya yung magpupuyat para patulugin yung mga bata pagkatapos kong magpadede, he would do that. If it meant running here and to this place and then back again to the house para lang makuha yung kailangan ko to make the breastfeeding successful, he will do it. I hope you have husbands like that. And if not, gawa natin ng event. Breastfeeding for daddies because they are a very big part of the success of your breastfeeding journey. So just think of that community. How supported are you? Even in your own home, you know, they say it takes a village to raise a child, and this is one of those parts where you need that village. What's that village for you? Who is your support? You got to ask yourself now. Prepare for that now pa lang. Now, the second thing, information. So let's go to the next slide. Information is one of those things that you really, really need. And it's a great thing that you already have this and it's abundant online. Diba? I-Google mo lang. Google mo yung mga nafe-feel mo sa katawan mo and you will already know. But aside from that, meron pa ako siguro mga addition dyan. Yung correct latch is very, very important. There are possible problems. Do you know already about engorgement, blebs, mastitis, tongue tie? And then, do you also know, so I talked about problems and I also talked about what makes it work. But also, if in case it really looks like it won't work, what are the next steps? And these are things that I didn't know with the first child. Natutunan ko na lang po dun sa pangalawa. Meron po pala tayong tinatawag na cross-feeding. Would you guys have you heard of that? So cross-feeding is like, sa mga nanay po ng arugaan ko to na natutunan na kapag gusto mong ma-keep sa breast yung anak mo and you feel like you're not really having like you're not really producing enough milk, one way to diagnose is if you cross-feed. Mag-feed ang baby ng isang nanay sa'yo at ikaw naman yung baby mo sa kanya. So you can see what the problem is. And sometimes if it's a lack of stimulation, the other baby can actually do it to your breast. And if you're just matyaga, pwede mo kasing ma-diagnose properly yung problem and even be able to address it completely and make it work. I just, of course, again, this is a pandemic. I don't think I don't think we all feel safe about just, going to someone and having their babies breastfeed from you and yours from them. So, ingat tayo sa ganon, oo, pero gusto ko lang i-introduce yung concept na there is such a thing as cross-feeding and it can be helpful if you just know the right people to go to. Again, follow Arugaan, TPE, Birthing Beginnings. They would know stuff about this. Nurse Joyce or Martinez. They will know where to point you kung may mga problema tayong ganyan. Another thing is relactation. Alam niyo bang may ganon na parang feeling nyo it's over. But I still have the desire and I probably have slept enough. Nakatulog po ako ng mga 2 linggo ngayon. Medyo mas maayos akong pag-iisip ko. I want to go back to breastfeeding. Is there such a way? Yes. Pwede po yun. Yun yung tinatawag nating relactation. And if we go to our lactation consultants, whoever is an expert on this, they would be able to guide you properly. Meron po akong ginawa dati for Manu na parang every so and so hours, nagpa-pump ako para may stimulation. And that's when I realized that, even when there's nothing coming out in the beginning, just the fact that you're consistent to stimulate your breast will bear fruit later on pagka lagi po natin ginagawa because the body is already following na, tuwing ganitong oras, meron pong stimulation na nangyayari sa amin. We need to produce milk. And so, it follows eventually. I mean, of course, meron din pong mga hindi success stories dyan for whatever reason, baka medical reason, ganon. Pero it doesn't hurt to try if we really have a pure desire in our hearts to try everything before we say, okay, hindi na nga po talaga mag-work ito. What else should I hear? Okay, information na, okay, ito medyo practical information. Siyempre, isa po sa mga bagay na naisip ko talaga na kaya ako gustong maituloy-tuloy yung breastfeeding ko, ay napakamura po nito. Wala po tayong ginagastos. Although, it can be expensive also when you're buying all sorts of things na para, para lang magka-milk ka or para lang ma-address yung problems mo. But still, I think that's still cheaper than, buying your milk. So, that's one thing. Now, I have this book on the presentation. It's called Breastfeeding, Empowering Parents by Dr. Jack Newman. And this is actually the interactive version. I don't have a physical copy of this because it is better to get the one that you can have on your Kindle or yung inyong mga e-readers. If you're not an e-reader, madaling-madali lang po ito. Kung may smartphone kayo, just download Kindle and you can already have this book. Why am I recommending this? Because ito pong book na ito, meron niyang mga links. And it will show you the correct latch. Okay, why am I saying that? Because, all of us say, dapat ganito yung latch, dapat yung ganyan. Pero honestly, pag nandun ka na, hindi mo rin masyadong maintindihan. Tama nga ba talaga to? Like, so many times, I would never forget one of my friends, Normie. She's an amazing, amazing mom and breastfeeding advocate. And I would always call her and send her videos. Is this a correct latch? Can you tell me what's wrong? So do you have somebody like that in your life? And also a reference. Papadala siya ng video sa akin or ng link. Ganito ba yung itsura? So, pwede nyo gawin po yan sa book na to. Grabe, sobra ko pong daming natutunan sa book na to. Katulad nung late onset of decreased milk supply. Sa kanya ko lang po natutunan yun. And nandito may mga links po siya ng videos na paano mo paano ka mag-hand express. That's another thing that you can actually get into, hand expression. I will talk about that more later. But get this book. I highly recommend it. It will have so much for you to parang so much reference for you. Pagka hindi nyo na po alam kung anong nangyayari sa body ninyo and sa breastfeeding journey nyo, this is such a great tool or reference. And the next thing that helped me, goals. Goals muna po tayo. Inspiration na ba nakalagay dyan? Goals muna tayo. Sorry. Yan. Okay. Goals. Not a picture, not a person, but your process. What do I mean by this? Sometimes our goal is nag-post ng picture si Rica. Gusto ko, ganyan ang goal ko. Or may influencer na sobrang galing niya talaga, ang abundant, hindi po ganun ang goal, but your own process. What is your own process? Alam niyo po ako, share ko lang, no? What got me by? In the beginning, parang parang creation story in the beginning. So, yun pong sa firstborn ko, ang pinaka goal ko lang sa simula was when I read a story of a person who went through breastfeeding challenges, and sabi niya, I always envisioned my baby smiling on the 3rd month, and I got through it. And I said, wait a minute, maybe I can envision that for myself also, that one day my baby will just that's what we're working for, that when I'm breastfeeding him now and everything is just painful and sore, this will not be the case all the time. And so it made me, kumbaga parang na-fuel ako noon, and that was a goal for me, na ma-reach lang namin yon, okay na ako. And it got us through to 2 years. Now, yung second born ko is a different story. Because there was a problem with his wet nappies, and nutrition na yung problema namin by this point. Hindi na lang sore nipples and all that. I said, maiabot ko lang po sa 6 months, okay na ako. Kasi by the 6th month, meron na siyang aid na solid food. So parang ganun yung thinking ko. And that 6 months, nagawa ko siyang i-stretch na, sige, makaabot na kami ng 1 year. Tapos yung 1 year, sabi ko, makaabot na kami ng 1.5 years. Tapos yung 1.5 years, makaabot na kami ng 2, and here we are right now. No more problems. So it's important that you have that for yourself, and you can't make it a goal na kung yung ginawa niya, yun yung gagawin ko. It has to be a personal observation of your very own process, na how long, and you don't have to make it long. Some will tell you, at least goal mo na 2 years. And I know it's best for babies to feed them with your breast milk for 2 years, diba? Yun yung lagi sinasabi. Pero sometimes 2 years can be daunting, especially when you are in the thick of the mess of breastfeeding. You're thinking, hindi ko na kaya to ng 2 years. So, gawin lang po nating maliliit na steps hanggang the next 3 months. Pagdating mo dun sa 3rd month, makikita nyo, hanggang 3 months po ulit. So, make yourself doable, reachable goals that are that fit your own experience and not anybody else's experience. Okay, so goals. Now, this is what we flashed earlier. Inspiration naman po tayo. You know what I call, in my own terms, what is inspiration? Inspiration is when information becomes alive. This is when information breathes life. If you look at this, the word inspire comes from the Middle English inspire, from the Old French inspirer, from the Latin inspirare, or to breathe or blow into, from into, and spirare, breathe. The word was originally used of a divine or supernatural being, in the sense, impart a truth or idea to someone. Kasi alam niyo po, ang information can be dry. Pag nagbabasa tayo ng textbook, parang, di ba, ang layo sa atin, hindi natin maintindihan yung sinasabi nito. But when the information is breathed with life, dun po nagiging isang useful na bagay, nakakapagbigay buhay ito sa atin. And I find it, I can connect it. Do you know that when we actually smell our babies, that stimulates the milk from our breasts, and they, with my firstborn, I can really feel it. Na yung pagka nakakarinig ako ng iyak ng bata, o di kaya nakakaamoy ako ng amoy baby, ganyan, na-feel ko po yung gatas ko, gumaganyan na yan sa pababa, kasi yun na yung let down. And you know that plays a very big part. How are we inspired? We can be inspired by thoughts, by what we see, by what we smell, all our senses, diba? Let's make it work. I mean, if you're having a problem, let's try that. Like, all of your senses working. The breath, the smell, yung iba po, they listen to songs that inspire them. I know of someone who said that, when I would sing, milk would flow. And find that out for yourself. What is that for you? Because we're not all the same, and we have very different pathways of being inspired. What breathes life into what you are doing? Go and find that, diba? So, is it a picture? Is it bonding with your baby? Kasi yes, meron talaga yung sa bonding with the baby, but there are other things as well. So, what gets you inspired? For me, it's also one of the ways is like yung word of God, and later on I'm going to share with you my most favorite verse when it comes to breastfeeding. But before that, let's just this is the last point. So far we've talked about support, goals, information, and inspiration. Now, this is my last advice for you. Find what works for you. I follow this person. She does yoga, and when I follow her, she always says, find what feels good. And I would say the same for you guys. Find what works for you. We don't have all the same lives. Yung iba po sa atin will really need to work. And that means we can't do only latch. Only latch is like the dream. Everybody latches for whenever until hanggang bukas nandiyan si baby, okay lang, kahit kailan. But, some of us have to stop because we have to work. And we can't really have, like, for my firstborn, it was possible to do meetings with him latched on my breast because he was a very quiet baby. But my second one was not. Ang likot-likot po niyang bata na pag nagkikipag-meeting po ako, I cannot focus. And the people I meet with cannot focus also. So, it's just not possible. And so, if it means for you, for your kind of life, to actually pump, that's fine. So, if you have questions later about pumping, ganyan, pwede ko pong sagutin lahat yan. Hindi naman lahat. Di naman po ako ganun ka. Wow, alam ko na lahat. Pero yung kung kaya ko lang po. But yung pumping, may schedule yan para sa ibang tao. I think it best works with the schedule. Again, I would point you back to these resources. Yan, sila Thammie, who really are knowledgeable about how many hours should you wait before you pump. And this was largely how I did it with the second one when I was trying to relactate. I followed to the T kung ano po yung sinabi sa akin ng mga experts na ito na gawin ko. Kung alam nyo po yung Haka is also very effective for me. Learn also how to hand express. Alam niyo yun? I think even in the book that I recommended, I think there is a tutorial on how to hand express. But this is one of the best ways that I was able to bank milk po para sa pangalawa kong anak. So, hindi ko po sinasabing better mag-pump, better mag-hand express. Marami tayong mga maririnig actually na philosophies. So, sabihin nila sa'yo, wag ka na mag-pump, mag-hand express ka na lang. But the older that I get into this and the more women I meet, I realize that because our bodies are so different that we can also respond very differently to the different methods. I personally did not respond well to the pump with my second baby, but I did with the first baby. So find what works for you. I don't think it's a no-no to pump. I don't think it's a no-no to give the bottle. But again, I will remind you, iba po yung breastfeeding, and that's actually where I want to end before we do our question and answer. Let's go to the verse that I want to share with you guys. Yet you brought me out of the womb. You made me trust you even at my mother's breast. This is my favorite verse about breastfeeding in the Bible. Bakit? It talks about trust. God first meets our need for provision. Whatever we need, di ba? Ano ba yung mga kailangan natin bilang tao? Kailangan ko mabuhay, kailangan ko ng pagkain, ng nutrisyon. Pero hindi po ako mabubuhay ng nutrisyon lamang. Kailangan ko rin mabuhay na merong pagmamahal. Na nalalaman kong merong isang tao or maraming tao na nagmamahal at tatanggap sa akin. And ito na yung part na sabi ko, sana hindi ako maiyak. Pero yan po ang nabibigay ng breastfeeding. When your baby is on your breast, God is meeting your baby's needs for nutrition, but also for love. He is making you trust in Him that I can provide for you the things that you will need in life. Unang-unang araw mo pa lang, gusto na sabihin sa'yo ng Panginoon na, I will provide for you, anak. And I just feel so honored as a mother to be a conduit of that message of God na this is about the provision of God. Hindi ka papabayaan ng Diyos, anak. And you know, this verse was already true for me with my firstborn, but with my secondborn, it became even truer for me in another sense. One is that He made my baby trust Him, but He made me trust Him also. That, you know, I have a lot of plans for my baby and I want to give my all for my baby. But God ultimately is going to be the one to give everything that my child needs. And if it means that it will be addressed in different ways, not in the way that I expected it to be, then so be it. But I want my child to know that God will meet his every need in life. And to close my talk, I just pulled out this very long quote from Jack Newman, but I'll read it anyway. It says, breastfeeding is much more than breast milk. Breastfeeding is a close physical and emotional relationship two people who are usually in love with each other, between two people who are usually in love with each other. The value of that relationship is not measured by how much breast milk the mother can produce or the baby receives. And it is important that people start seeing breastfeeding in its various forms. If the baby cannot receive only breast milk, the baby can, nevertheless, breastfeed exclusively with a lactation aid at the breast. Breast milk is one thing, breastfeeding is another. And that is actually it. I just want to remind you guys that breast milk is a very big part, yes. But breastfeeding is the goal. I hope you make it the goal. That you get to build that relationship with your child. Not only that, you know, cow ka lang niya, di ba? Milk producer ka lang niya. Like I said earlier, that is what I had with my second child. I said, it is okay if he doesn't get my breast milk anymore, if he doesn't get that from me. But the love, the bottle cannot give him that. The trust that he will get every time that he is laid down on my chest and he finds comfort and he finds relationship over there and provision. I cannot give him that through the bottle. And I hope that you will remember that when it's time for you to rethink and reassess your own journey. That breastfeeding is not only about breast milk, but it is a relationship between you and your child. And that is something that is worth fighting for no matter what. Thank you guys. I hope you liked what I shared today.
All right, thank you so much, Miss Rica Peralejo-Bonifacio. Thank you, Ate Rica. Grabe
Yes,
naman, that was so
Dianne.
inspiring and very emotional story. I learned so much from you, and I like that you really acknowledge God, and you really acknowledge God that we should just trust Him. And it's nice to know that God really created and designed our bodies to produce milk for our babies, and that we should know that God will never abandon us and He's ever merciful and He would always provide. Yun talaga yun. And I also like what you said about breastfeeding is just, you know, more than giving food to our babies. It's really more of, we're after the relationship, di ba? The quality time. Sabi ko nga, Ate Rica, I was also actually, I exclusively breastfed my son also. Yung naging journey ko was really hard also because I had postpartum depression and anxiety. And of course, while breastfeeding my son, pagod na pagod ako. Kasi sabi ko nga, it entails a lot of hard work and sacrifice. There was a time, gigisingin ako. Talagang, there were times I was really, really tired. Nandun ako sa verge of giving up. Pero iniisip ko palagi na laban lang. Talagang, I really need to do this for my son. Pero lagi kong iniisip, dadating ang panahon na hindi na babalik si Joaquin na ganitong kaliit, ganitong ka-baby. Yun yung lagi kong iniisip because time flies so fast. Baka mamaya iba na yung gusto niya, meron na siyang sariling mundo, hindi na niya ako hinahanap. And favorite ko yung pakiramdam na need niya ako, na kailangan ko ng anak ko. Yun talaga. So, anyway, Ate Rica, we're gonna open the floor now for some question and answer portion.
Sige lang.
Alright, so for those To all our online viewers, please do comment down below your questions for Ate Rica. Okay, so ang dami na nagko-comment, ang dami questions actually, but we're gonna flash it on our screen. Sige, maghahanap muna tayo ng mga questions. But anyway, may nakita kasi ako dito, Ate Rica, tinatanong niya, what would you recommend? Electric pump ba? Only latch? What do you recommend?
Ang recommendation ko is, honestly, sa totoo lang yung nangyari kasi sa akin is, parang nag-experiment ako ng iba-iba. So, siguro kung iisipin natin yung budget, kasi syempre, Dianne, ang mahal din ha. Ang mahal kaya bumili ng pump. Lahat ng mga yan, kailangan mo ring isipin. Maybe you can start with haka muna.
Yes, I also use haka, Ate.
Diba?
Yes,
Diba?
ang ganda ng haka.
Wala pang haka nung time
Alam mo,
ni
saan ko
Thammie.
nakuha yun? Kay Nurse Joyce din, kasi siya din yung lactation consultant ko.
Oh, yun! Diba?
Yes!
So, nung panahon po kasi ng firstborn ko, wala pa. Wala pang haka. So, nung sinabi sa akin yung haka sa secondborn, sabi ko, ano yan? And then, you know, it's very helpful. Sana nga meron. Teka, pakita ko na lang. Baka meron ako dito.
So anyway, to all our live viewers, make sure to join our community group para makaano po kami sa mga questions niyo. And also, we still have our raffle. Kaya mag-antay kayo, please do stay until the end of the program. At para mamimigay din po kami ng mga products from Lactation Purest, make sure to stay until the end of the live stream. So anyway, Ate, do you have, there's your haka.
Yung haka. Tapos po, syempre, igaganyan nyo lang, no? Gaganyan nyo,
Ilalagay nyo lang yan dito.
You can see it, but
I-clip nyo
yeah,
lang sa
ganyan.
breast. There.
Okay. So, ang maganda po kasi dyan, di ba kapag yung one breast nyo, dyan nagsasakol si baby, pwede nyo na rin ilagay sa kabila. Kasi, nasi-stimulate din naman yung kabila. So, dati, nung panahon sa first child ko, ang meron lang ay yung ano nga ba tawag doon? Yung nagka-catch lang. May ganun eh. Yung wala na alam. Oo. Ano lang talagang sasaluhin mo, kahit naman maka 1 ounce ka lang na na milk doon, okay na, di ba?
Yes, happy ka
na. So, ganun yung ginagawa ko. And then, matching ng hand expression. Bakit ko gustong mag-start dito? Kasi kapag sa pump, pwede rin kasing mag-react ka in a very negative way to a pump. Dahil baka sumobra naman, tapos ang magiging problema mo na yung engorgement, matigas na yung breast mo, ganyan. But, if you really want to go for a pump, alam nyo, I don't have it here, but alam nyo yung naipapasok lang na ganon? I forget what it's called.
Yung hands-free na pump?
Yes.
Okay.
Alam nyo, ang laki po ng tulong nung ganon sa akin kasi ilagay mo lang siya. So, ano pa siya, yung mga pump kasi ngayon, high-tech na, pwede mo nang i-control sa phone mo. So, you can search for what is the latest, what is the best, and then you can just experiment from there. But of course, you know, it can be very expensive kasi to experiment. But the truth is, you really never know until you try.
That's right.
Diba?
But can I just share,
yan,
Ate
diba?
Rica? Yes, can I just share? It's really talaga more of whatever works for you. Because sa breast pump, hindi naman din lahat ng moms nakaka-express ng tama.
Yun!
Pero may iba naman, when they only latch the baby, nilatch sa breast, maraming nakukuhang milk si baby. But for the breast pump, based from what I've observed, hindi ko alam kung same kayo na experience ko, it also depends on the size of your breast, kung kayang i-pump nung size nung breast pump. So, you just really have to experiment and explore whatever works for you. Ate, since we're talking about already breast pump, a question from Jen Galang. Miss Rica, do I need mag-breast pump agad right after delivery?
Ako, I would say, wag muna. Kasi baka you might disturb your normal and natural process. Like what Thammie said, I think it's very comforting to know the size of the baby's tummy. Kasi akala natin, ang iniisip natin kain, yung maraming kain. Tandaan nyo, yung tummy ni baby, napakaliit pa. So, konti lang talaga yung kailangan yan. Lagi nga nila sinasabi, walang milk. Hindi siya walang milk kasi yung milk na pinoproduce niya, tama pa lang dun sa kailangan ng baby. And again, magkakaiba yan. Size ng pwede sa na kaya ng breast, size ng tiyan ni baby, lahat yan magkaka-relate, di ba? So, siguro wag muna. Again, sorry, pero sasabihin ko talaga, kung gusto nyo talaga, ito, haka. Kasi at least, hindi niya bibiglain yung iyong breast. But magkakaiba tayo. Again, no, I will have to go back to, like, si Thammie. May Nico experiences siya. Si, si Feliz, di ba? Iba kasi yun. Parang yun yung mga, kumbaga, out of the normal na yun. Na, okay, kasi naniko yung baby, kailangan natin mag-produce kaagad-agad ng breast milk. Isa pa palang i-add ko, kung talagang feeling nyo, nahihirapan kayo sa breast, pwede tayong mag-cup feed. Cup feed or dropper.
Yes.
So, pwede nating tiyagain, massage, stimulate, ilapit si baby, and then express. Pag na-express nyo na, pwede nyong i-dropper kay baby. So, hindi natin kailangang isipin yung napakaraming milk sa simula po ng life ni baby. Konti pa lang ang kailangan niya.
Okay. Ate Rica, kasi mga 5 moms ang nagtatanong dito on our comment section box about the food that you eat to produce more breast milk. May ibang nagtanong, totoo bang nakakadami ng breast milk ang pagkain ng masasabaw na pagkain like tinola, bulalo? The other mom actually asked din, si Miss Karen, sabi damihan daw po ang pagkain at pag-inom ng water para dumami ang gatas. Totoo po ba yun? May isa naman nagtanong, anong tinitake niyo po, Mommy Rica, para dumami ang breast milk?
Nako, kung ano-ano na natin na-take ko.
Alam mo
para
ba
lang,
Ate Rica,
diba?
talagang tinry ko na lahat ng mga pwede, mga lactation, todo. Pati nga, ako kay Nanay Estela din ako nagpapamassage. Lahat na talaga ng mga pwede ginawa ko, just to extract everything for our babies, di ba?
Oo, alam nyo, kahit na ano, i-try nyo. Yung, sabi nila, yung sa soup, okay yun, kasi parang mainit, ganyan. Honestly, I do not know if this is scientifically proven, but here's the thing that I can tell you. Sometimes our brain works that way. That when we believe in something, it follows. Even if baka nga hindi naman dun nanggagaling. Ang feeling ko dyan is baka nare-relax kayo. Sometimes, like what I said earlier, stress prohibits the going down of the milk, the coming down of the milk, or parang nai-stuck siya at some point kasi nagko-constrict lahat, hindi maka-flow. Bakit siya hindi maka-flow? Dahil stressed ka. Ngayon, pag meron kang naisip na, let's take this, and nung panahon ko, no, ang gagawin ko is iinom ako ng, merong parang coffee, lactation drink na, iinom akong ganyan. Feeling ko that lactation drink really does help. Aside from the fact that I was able to take a few minutes of being just by myself, enjoying that cup of warm drink, and it helped me relax. So, nung naka-relax ako, nakaka-breastfeed ako ng maayos sa anak ko.
Ako, I totally agree talaga na yung stress talaga is really talagang factor yun na hindi ka nakakapag-produce. Kasi yun ang nangyari sa akin, Ate Rica. I remember I had so many anxiety attacks. Tapos nade-depress ako na kapag umiiyak si Joaquin, natataranta na ako na bakit parang hindi ba enough yung milk na nakukuha niya. Hala, baka nagugutom yung baby ko, baka mamaya gutom to, takot na takot ako. So, yan yung mga ibang factors na it's really important na mag-relax tayo.
Yes. Alam mo pala, Dianne,
yes, go ahead, Ate.
i-add ko lang hindi ko yata nasabi sa talk ko. Nung sa second child ko, namatay kasi ang papa ko. Namatay siya habang nasa parang 4 months lang yung anak ko. So, you can just imagine, no? Wag po nating i-discount ang fact na there are things in our life that can happen that will largely affect our breastfeeding journey because emotionally, we're just not well. Diba? I mean, I was in grief. I was having a hard time dealing with that. And I think you'll learn more from Feliz when it comes to that. Na ano ba yung relationship ng season ng buhay dun sa success ng breastfeeding mo.
Okay, so our next question, this is our third question from Vince at Kathy. Po, Mommy Rica, because hindi maiwasan na mag-transition sa bote because after maternity leave, babalik na sa work. What are your sa pag-bottle feed? Pumped breast milk, breastfed baby, direct latching, nagkakaroon.
Nako, nagka-cut siya sa akin. I'm not sure. Are you guys seeing me? Can you still hear me? Or am I cut? Because nag-freeze, sorry. Am I still okay? Can you hear me? Yeah, I think you can hear me. So I will just answer this question. How to uh, successfully breastfeed your baby, parang transition, no? It's really tricky because honestly, the bottle cannot provide the warmth of, oh yan, hi Dianne. I was answering the question na hindi talaga magko-compare po ang bottle at saka yung direct latching ating breast, di ba? But one thing that I can advise, if you really need to, because hindi po natin yan pwedeng maiwasan para sa ating mga working moms lalo na, no? You can give them in the bottle your breast milk, but make it sure that you have a special time together. So kung sa gabi ito, yung marami akong kilalang ganon, na pag-uwi nila sa gabi, ito yung time nila together on the breast. So maybe you can create a schedule for the two of you na when you get home, it's going to be a special time between mommy and child. Maybe because it will help the baby understand.
Okay.
Kasi syempre baby pa, di ba? Hirap naman ipa-understand sa kanya na may work si mommy. But, you know, we can also just continue talking to our baby na parang, anak, later on, we're gonna have this special time, ganyan. But for now, this is your, and yung isa nilang laging sinasabi, don't give the bottle na ikaw yung nagbibigay kasi ikaw pa rin yung pipiliin niya. So it has to be somebody else to give the bottle. I mean, I think that's the best advice I could give when it comes to transitioning. I am not really the best person to ask. I have not successfully done it. My babies have quit the bottle because they are, and I have the kind of lifestyle wherein I can actually just only latch. Pero kung hindi, yun lang, two things. Create a schedule wherein you both are together para mas i-look forward niya yun and matanggap niya na other parts are given to me via the bottle. Second is, ask somebody else to do it. Don't do it because your baby wants you. Medyo nakakakilig, nakaka-flatter na your baby wants you more than the bottle, di ba?
Okay. For our last question, Ate Rica, Mommy Rica, ano po bang recommended lactation milk or malunggay supplement niyo po? Does it really help para ma-boost yung milk? Thank you. From Annabelle Senir Fausto.
Yes and no. Kasi yes in the sense na talagang minsan, may mga ganun ako na pag tinake ko, wow, parang feeling ko talaga ang dami kong milk. But for some people, how funny, when they take it, no effect. Or yung tinake ng iba, pag tinake ko, bakit parang hindi naman tayo same ng effect? All I'm saying is that it doesn't hurt to try. I think they're still very helpful. Better than nothing. But I don't want you to place your complete faith on that because baka mamaya, ma-stress ka na naman. You always have to guard the stress in your life na when you put your faith on something and then it fails, parang ano na lang gagawin mo, di ba? So parang you have to guard that also. You have to be very mindful so that it doesn't turn into a stressful thing. Dapat nga mag-help siya sa'yo, di ba?
Alright, there you have it. Thank you so much, Mommy
Thank
Rica
you, Dianne!
Peralejo-Bonifacio, for joining us this afternoon. Thank you so much. Before we end, would you like to say anything?
Well, wala na. Naisabi ko ng lahat. Pero, ito na lang. If you fight for it, even through the challenges, it's going to be so worth it. You're not going to regret fighting for this one. So, have a great breastfeeding journey. I want to hear your stories someday. I know they're going to be successful. And thank you, Purest Lactation, for giving me the floor to share my story.
Alright, thank you once again, Mrs. Of course, Mommy Rica Peralejo-Bonifacio. Maraming salamat for your inspiring story. And again, thank you for sharing your time and story with us. Thank you so much. Again, to sum up what Mommy Rica said, breast milk is more than just food for babies. So we're really after the relationship din talaga. And it's also a potent medicine. The first milk or colostrum is rich in antibodies which protect children from dangerous infections and diseases. So again, alam niyo naman po mga mommies, na kung mag-iingat po tayo lagi because we're still in the midst of pandemic. It's important that we help one another, most especially the mamas out there, to raise more awareness about the importance and health benefits of breastfeeding. To all the mamas out there, of course, no matter how long you breastfed your babies, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're doing a good job. And we just want to praise you, acknowledge you for your strength, for your dedication and sacrifices. So I just hope also that we take out that mentality, no, of comparing yourself to others, again, because we have different body condition, diba? So whatever works for you is really important, and we get that optimal support and right amount of support from our husbands, from our family, friends, and loved ones. So each one of us has different story, different body condition and situation. So mga mommies, sabi nga ni Mami Rica, ni Mami Thammie, relax lang. Just relax and enjoy the journey because time flies so fast. Alam nyo ba mga mommies, I can still vividly remember everything when I gave birth to Joaquin. Grabe, ang bilis ng panahon. Alam nyo ba, Joaquin is already turning 1 next month. O, di ba grabe? So, enjoy every moment. It should be a journey of happiness and love. And again, sabi nga ni Mami Rica, this is my most favorite part. And I also like the verse that she shared about Psalm, na sabi niya doon talaga na, grabe yung na-share niya sa atin na verse. It says, yet you brought me out of the womb. You made me trust in you even at my mother's breast. So we should always just trust God because He will never abandon us. And again, He's ever merciful and He will always provide. All right, so now moving on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is a mompreneur and an artist. She and her husband, JJ, practice intentional parenting in a hybrid of different curriculums to fit their homeschooling style. She is a mom of 4, all delivered via cesarean section, and a breastfeeding mom up till now to her youngest child. She's the co-founder of Luca Studios and author of the book More Than the Most, The Story of Courageous Katie. She completed coaching at End of Life Seminar, is an international certified grief coach and master of certified coach. She attended seminars in understanding depression at St. Luke's and Cardinal Santos Medical Center, completed personal grief coaching by Kathy Babao, and lastly, coaching courage and grief, life's healing choices for the bereaved and depressed. To know more about her, let's watch this.
Hi everyone! Hi mommies! I'm sure na sobrang dami nyo natutunan from Mommy Thammie and Mommy Rica. And ako rin, parang looking back, grabe, at such a wonderful journey. When you're at it, ang hirap-hirap, di ba? Parang paano ba yung breastfeeding? Hindi ko alam. Ang daming information, nakaka-pressure. But as we look back, parang wow, those were really the best times of our journey as a mother with motherhood or being a life giver. So, I'm sure that you're encouraged right now. And syempre, this time naman, medyo nasa, we're going to discuss naman something that is not so often discussed because parang I think a lot of people are still scared to share that they have this. So, it's postpartum depression. Maybe a lot of us, ayan, let's share our slide, please. I will need the Purest Lactation team to share my slides. So, syempre, like, I think most of us moms or mga new moms, sobra tayong nape-pressure with a lot of factors around. And we're going to discuss today na paano kunyari, hindi ko alam kung may postpartum ba ako or if may postpartum na ako, how will I move forward about it with depression? So, let's be a little bit technical lang right now kasi the more we understand something, the more that we will be fearful of it, less fearful of it. So, next slide. What is postpartum ba? So, postpartum kasi is, technically, it just really means that it's time after childbirth. So, you can use this word as postpartum clothing or postpartum meals or postpartum lifestyle And in this case, we're going to talk about postpartum depression. There's a lot of pressures all around talaga. And I'll share with you the next slide on the different children that I have. I have 4 children. And iba-iba. I guess with my firstborn, Katie, this was back in 2012. Just like what Thammie was sharing, ito yung time na wala pang, I think, parang wala pa atang Facebook during this time. And wala pang masyadong support system. And this was also parang pa-start pa lang din ang the parenting emporium. So, you just really relied on the book, yung how to, parang may book, I forgot ano yung book on that, na mga basta one-on-one on the, how getting to know your baby, parang ganyan. So, I just really relied on books. So, this was, I think I was around 27 at that time when I had my first child, and a lot of pressures came in, di ba? Parang, I was a new mom, ang dami kong information, pero hindi ko alam anong applicable sa akin. And then, I felt pressured. I don't know if some of you also feel this, na I need to also build a relationship with my in-laws, with my family. Paano yung work ko? Kasi I still need to work. And then, I need to still take care of the household, and then my husband, and my newborn baby. So, ang daming pressures that I just really bawled and cried. When I gave birth to my firstborn, my husband, si JJ, he underwent also some medical tests during that time. So I felt all alone. So I really felt alone during my breastfeeding journey. And but I was trying to hold back. Ayokong ipakita sa kanya kasi shucks, I have to be strong. Parang I felt so pressured na I have to be this kind of mom for my baby. I have to be perfect in my response so that my baby will be okay. But yun nga, I think it was a very difficult time kasi parang you're struggling with yourself. You're struggling with this controlling your situation, or you're struggling with wanting what's best but it's not happening. Bakit ganito? Parang hindi nangyayari yung nabasa ko. Sabi nga nila, like what they shared, that breastfeeding is painful, but the moment that I started my nag-feed ako, parang ang sakit sobra the very first time. Yung parang binibiyak siya na I had to really hold to my husband's arm na ang sobrang sakit, and I would cry. And minsan the baby would cry, Katie would cry, and I didn't know what was happening, and I was crying, and I felt guilty na I may not be a good mom. So, that we have different journeys, and that was my firstborn. So, I thought, hindi ako naniniwala before with postpartum depression. Sabi ko, hindi, before giving birth, I just have to be strong. I just have to be cheerful. Parang kaya ko yan i-overcome. And then a friend came in and said, uy, parang lang tayo, coffee lang tayo, quick lang. And during that time, I was very scared na ma-miss out ko yung every 2 hours kailangan nag-feed ako. So I was so scared, pero sige, quick lang tapos babalik ako. And then during that time, when I was heard and when I was acknowledged na ang hirap ng life, ang hirap being a mom, and it was not the kind of the kind of life that I thought it would be. I really cried, and then she said, it's valid. I think you're also going through depression. Tapos I go, hindi yan. Parang I was still in denial. And then when I started to acknowledge that, hey, I was going through deep feelings, big feelings, that was the time that I started to research about it and started to find ways on how to be able to address it. So I will be able to share with you later, what can we do? How do we do if we have depression? Not just because of the pregnancy, but also holistically, diba? With my second naman, I thought hindi na siya ulit mangyayari. So hindi na yan mangyayari kasi prepared na ako. Pero nangyari na naman. So I kept on crying and crying. And during my breastfeeding journey with him, naudlot bigla akong nag-awol because my firstborn, Katie, got sick. And I had to be with her 24/7 sa hospital. So I think that was around 1 year and 6 months that Ethan, na bigla na lang akong nawala. So, bigla siyang nag-quickly change to bottle, na from breastfeeding straight on, bigla siyang nag-bottle. So, it was also difficult for us. So nag-start akong mag-pump nun and give my breast milk. At the same time, nag-feed din kasi alam kong shocks, I was very in a stressful situation na nawawalan na talaga ako ng milk. And it was buti na lang, there was my family who also helped out feed Ethan then during that time. So I wasn't really there for him. So I think during the third naman of my pregnancy with Kalea, sabi ko, okay, the first 2 kids, alam ko I have PBD, so kailangan mas prepared na ako this time. And I was going through grief because my firstborn died. So sabi ko, I have to be prepared. I need to be ready for this. So I read some more and I'll share with you later how we went about it, and it really helped. And with my last one naman, si Tori, this is, she's already turning 2 years old. I think there's still a lot of challenges involved, but the more that I'm prepared, alam ko na yung triggers ko. Minsan kasi may triggers tayo minsan lack of sleep, minsan problems with work, or especially at this time, the pandemic, now we cannot even go out and wala tayong me time. So how can we find out some quick recovery time? So I'll share that with you later. So I will be going through a series of emotions that I want you to check out and type in the comment section. I'll share the slide. Can you share the next slide? I'll just quickly go through them, and then if you're feeling this, type it down in the comment section, because I want you to know that you don't have to be scared or to be alone in feeling this emotion. And it can be, it's a journey that can be healed as well. So do you have mga personality changes? Ganyan. Mairita ka ba? Parang ang bilis-bilis mong mairita, ganyan. Or minsan, hindi ka na nakakatulog. Yung the whole time, bakit ganun na 3 o'clock na, gising pa rin ako, Netflix pa rin ako. Gusto ko matulog, pero hindi ako makatulog. Minsan, like there was also a time na hindi ko malasahan yung kinakain ko, tsaka hindi ko siya talaga naaamoy. So, lahat ng tao parang yung bango-bango ng food, ganyan. Pero hindi ko siya maamoy. Kahit na bawang na siya, hindi ko talaga siya maamoy. And there was a time na I was very restless, fidgety, yung parang hirap na hirap akong huminga. Parang it was very suffocating inside. And I would vomit, and parang sobrang grabe yung migraine na gusto mo nang matulog dahil sa migraine, pero hindi ka makatulog dahil sa sobrang sakit ng migraine. And anxious ako. Minsan, madalas ako magkaroon ng sipon saka ubo before. Parang my body was very inflamed. And I'll share with you how important nutrition is talaga and how connected it is with depression. And napapansin ko before, sobrang bilis ko magpawis. Before, hindi ako pawisin. Pero ngayon, bakit ang bilis-bilis ko magpawis? Nakaupo lang ako, pero pinagpapawisan ako. Di ba kapag mga buntis tayo, bago tayo mga anak, I don't know if it's ganun din sa inyo. Parang my buttocks would really sweat. Tapos pagtayo ko siya, nakakahiya kasi basa. So, usually, parang after giving birth, it decreases. But this time, hindi siya, it just worsened. Parang the more ako nagsusweat talaga. And I have chest pains, I would forget easily. So sabi nila, nako, baka yan, sa epidural yan, kaya you would lose memory. So sabi ko, oo nga, baka nga sa epidural. And parang minsan meron akong, ang bilis ko matapilok kasi hindi ko nakikita agad yung nilalakad ko. So, even with my eyesight, hindi siya blurred yung paningin ko. Pero usually, okay naman ako, 20/20 naman ako. And parang I just really wanted to stay at home. And parang nawalan na ako ng sense of purpose din na I was actually entertaining the thoughts of suicide. I was entertaining the thoughts of, I just recently lost my daughter. Parang ang weird, parang you would just see the building and then parang the best idea is to just jump off it. But parang how do you overcome those thoughts? How do you overcome those deep inside, yung mga bagay na nahihiya tayong i-share, nahihiya tayong ipaalam na we're depressed. So next slide please. PPD or postpartum depression is not a character flaw or weakness. Kaya tayo nahihiya kasi feeling natin mahina tayo kapag may PPD tayo. Parang ang weak-weak natin because may PPD tayo. But, there's a lot of things that is going through our body, a lot of things that is changing. So, if you would see in the next slide, there's a lot of ano ba yung mga cause why this is happening, like yun nga, when I was with my journey with the four different children, different was I was young, trying to find financial security. I was also trying to work pa, and at the same time trying to meet the pressures of being a good daughter-in-law. So all the pressures were all around. And minsan also physical concerns is a like minsan hindi natin alam that we have thyroid problems din pala. And a lack of sleep can cause also imbalance in our body, and mastitis din. So I think Rica and Thammie shared about mastitis when you have engorged breast. So all my four children, if prepared na ako magkaroon ng PPD with them, I also know na shocks, magkakamastitis na ako. Usually this happens on the second month ba, o parang on the second month na talagang mag-engorge yung breast ko. Kahit na mag-feed ako regular or only latched, bakit ganon? Sobrang nagkakamastitis na ako, and I would have fever and a lot of red marks na kailangan ko rin ng lactation masseuse to really press it out. Talagang ang sakit-sakit na you will just cry. So a lot of situations really happen. And do you know that food and vitamins greatly affect also our situation with depression? And I'll share with you tips then on how we can get over that later. I think if we have this, we don't have enough sleep, we have mastitis, we have thyroid concerns, we are vitamin deprived from the nutrition that we are taking, from the food, yung food na kinakain natin do not have enough nutrition. This greatly affects our feelings. Ito yung mga times na hindi din natin nakokontrol, mas hindi natin nakokontrol yung situation. So, like what Rica shared also a while ago, there are some environmental factors that also affects our well-being, and we are emotional beings, we are emotional individuals, and when certain life events happen that are really hurtful and tragic, it really also greatly affects us with very deep emotion, which is depression. So depression is a very big umbrella, but it can be addressed once we understand it a little bit more. So, next slide. Ayan. I want to affirm you. I want to recognize that your postpartum depression is valid. We are in a pandemic where maybe you are going to give birth pa lang, or maybe you just recently gave birth, and you feel that this is not the ideal setup that you want for your children. Maybe this is not the ideal setup that you want, giving birth na you're alone and your husband cannot go inside. Maybe you're struggling financially also, like your family is going through in terms of our savings. Ito mag-extend na naman daw yung lockdown. So how do we go about it? Ang daming factors. And syempre, it affects also us around us with our family members. So ito yung time na during at the start of the pandemic, parang I tried to control the situation. Ako, nagbenta ako ng itlog para lang to get by. Parang, sige, magbenta tayo ng mga trays ng itlog. And it really caused conflict between me and JJ na bakit gano'n? Ba't ako yung nagtatrabaho? Ba't ako naghahanap ng paraan para mag-work? Parang dapat pa, hindi pa ikaw? Ganyan. So, the pandemic really caused a lot. But it also became, sometimes our biggest pain becomes our biggest strength then. So because we had a lot of conflicts at home, it became an opportunity for us to, okay, kailangan natin i-figure out how can we manage this conflict? How can we respond better in this? And that's how I was also able to address my depression then, when I was able to clearly express them. So next slide. Ayan. So, syempre, it's very important now when we know already what postpartum is, we know already what depression is, and there's a lot of feelings that's going on inside. But what really happens? Ano ba talaga ang nangyari? So Thammie and Rica already shared about the oxytocins and what really about our hormones, because we're hormonal beings. But what happens inside? So there are factors in our brain. Para siyang, I'll show you a video in a bit. So I hope the team is going to prepare it. And I want you to imagine that this is what's happening in your brain. So there are a lot of, we have neurotransmitters. So ito yung kumbaga parang nagko-connect ng mga ideas natin. So there is, depression is not weakness. Depression is not just parang, ano ba yan, isip-isip mo lang yan, parang nagdadrama ka lang, parang ganun, or naku, ano man ang muna isipin yan. But you know, there is also a medical explanation for it. Because of what's happening with our brain, with our body, because of the stresses of the pandemic, of financial health, or financial problems, our body is getting inflamed. So, what is inflamed? Isipin mo yung body mo sa loob, hindi mo siya nakikita, pero nag-aapoy siya. So, because of that, it causes inflammation also to our brain. And pag merong inflammation to our brain, isipin mo na lang, di ba, parang nasusunog yung mga connectors natin. So, I'll show you here a video in a bit, showing about what neurotransmitters are, and in a more understandable way, about thinking of it as a highway, parang ganyan. So take note of dopamine, which is very important with your feelings of motivation. Ito pero affected to, kung ito kasi yung part of your that really moves you to be motivated. So bakit, di ba, in depression, parang mafe-feel mo, bakit hindi ako motivated right now? And then we have the, ito, norepinephrine. So parang, ito naman yung fight-flight response natin. Parang, ito yung instruct sa atin, ato, ano ba, do we fight about it? Do we freeze? Or do we, aalis na lang tayo? We just lalayasan na lang natin yung situation. So ito, parang hindi mo rin alam anong gagawin mo. You cannot connect anymore your ideas together. And if you would notice, diba, ito very important, serotonin, the feel-good chemical. Minsan nafe-feel mo ba kapag kinakabahan ka, bakit ganun, masakit yung tiyan mo, or parang naiihi ka, or parang nagugutom ka, or parang masakit yung tiyan mo, may butterflies ka in your stomach. So minsan, hindi minsan, but it's really connected with how we feel. Our gut is also connected with how we think as well. So ayan, let's show the video of what really happens in our brains. Yan. Makikita ba yung video? Yeah.
The current standard of care for the treatment of depression is based on what we call the monoamine deficiency hypothesis, essentially presuming that one of 3 neurotransmitters in the brain is deficient or underactive.
Neurotransmitters can be thought of as the chemical messengers within the brain. It's what helps one cell in the brain communicate with another to pass that message along.
But the reality is there are more than 100 neurotransmitters in the brain and billions of connections between neurons.
The chemical messengers between the nerve cells in the higher centers of the brain involved in regulating mood and emotion, which include glutamate and GABA, were possibilities as alternative causes for the symptoms of depression.
We know that these two, which are the most ubiquitous and abundant neurotransmitters in the brain, actually regulate how the brain is changing over time and adapting.
When you are exposed to severe and chronic stress, like people experience when they have depression, you lose some of the connections between the nerve cells, and the communication in these circuits becomes inefficient and noisy. Because of the noisy communication in the circuits involved in regulating mood and emotion, we think that the loss of these synaptic connections contributes to the biology of depression.
There are clear differences between a healthy brain and a depressed brain. And the exciting thing is, when you treat that depression effectively, the brain goes back to looking like a healthy brain.
Ayan. So, okay. Ayan, di ba, para if you see, the neurotransmitters works like a highway. Isipin mo, parang yung brain mo, it's like a city na. It's like it's moving a lot. And then all of a sudden, bigla na lang, okay, hindi, yung mga kotse, nalalaglag na lang kasi wala ng bridge, wala ng highway, wala ng overpass. So, ganun yung nangyayari when we are going through depression in our body. For you to visually understand bakit ganito yung nafe-feel natin? How come we cannot understand what we're feeling? So this is exactly what's happening. So I'll share with you now, what do we do? Okay, alam ko na, may PPD na ako. Alam ko na these are really causing me problems, or these are causing me depression, deep depression. So there are 4 things that I will share with you today. So first is psychotherapy. So I think this is greatly encouraged by all the moms here, Thammie, Rica, the Purest Lactation, is to really acknowledge first that you are going through something very difficult. And this is very important that you share your pain. So they share different community groups, and they share different community groups on where you can get more information. So I'll share with you on the next slide on how can we at first go through psychotherapy. So psychotherapy is when you're going through deep feelings, kailangan mo siyang i-share. It's very, very important that you verbalize it. Kasi when you verbalize it, when you hear yourself, your brain starts to connect again. And when you hear that somebody hears you and acknowledges you, you get to be able to feel that you are not alone. And really, you are really not alone. Ang daming moms who are really going through this. It's very, very important to purge the pain. So para siyang pimple. Imagine mo may pimple ka, di ba? Hindi mo pwedeng hayaan yung pimple yan. Kailangan, kahit alam kong bawal siya i-pop, pero eventually, dapat lumabas yung pus. Diba? It's the same thing with what we're feeling inside. So, when we have painful hurts, parang nahihirapan ako with breastfeeding, minsan, some of us feel na parang ayoko mag-breastfeed. I just feel na I'm pressured to breastfeed because I'm told to do so. So, minsan, we need people around us to let ourselves go back to what we knew all along or what we really love. And this is very important to really purge and be heard and to share the pain and to learn and understand. So very important sa atin is to connect, diba? And to purge and to engage your brain. So nandito na tayo, nag-connect na kayo. You have your support group already. Once you have your support group, your family, your spouse, you let them know na I need you to be with me on this journey. And next is you engage your brain. What do you mean by engage your brain? Find ways, understand what you're going through. If you have questions about breastfeeding, continue to attend seminars like this. Learn, understand, and then explore. And as they said, iba-iba for different person. But the more you understand it, the more that you fear it less. And what fills your thoughts also? Minsan, sobra ng, like, lately, parang puro zombie movies na lang nasa Netflix, diba? Parang, I think, parang we have to be mindful kung ano yung mga papanoorin natin, especially during this time. Para be more mindful with what we're going to listen also, the music that we listen to. So, with my kids, I have a specific lullaby album for each child. So ngayon, with Tori, I have in Spotify the album Scripture Lullabies. So it speaks Bible scriptures and then it's beautifully done in a lullaby. So alam ng kids, the moment I play this, parang okay, it's time to sleep, or parang mako-comfort na sila while I'm breastfeeding. So for each child, iba-iba unintentionally yung mga lullaby songs. So next, what can we do? So we have already connecting with your friends, right? With your support group. Next is habits. So this one, I think not most people know about this, but I'm going to, this is very important. So i-take down notes nyo to if you have. So this is going to be very, very specific. What can we do when we are going through postpartum depression? So with my third child, Kalea, alam ko magkaka-postpartum depression ako. So I read about also placenta pills. So ito yung after you give birth, they get your the OB gets your placenta, and then you get in touch with the person. What's this? There's a mommy doula who can encapsulate your placenta, and then you take it. So I know baka for some it's parang shocks talaga pwede yon, but I would take it after that, and my mood really changes, and I have more energy. So aside from that, food and habit really is important. So I'll share with you later, and important siya sa routine. So magnesium, sometimes when we're also irritable, minsan nagkukulang lang din actually ng body natin ng magnesium, and how important vitamins plays. So kanina I saw a lot of questions about nutrition. Ano bang food ang iti-take? Pwede bang kainin ko na lang lahat? Hindi ko sure kasi i-take ko na lang lahat. But you have to also be mindful with what you take in, kasi it can be an inflammatory. So can you show the next slide? Ayan, I'll share with you why important how important food that you eat is. So antibiotics. So hindi lang yan medicine ha. Antibiotic, isipin natin pag may sakit tayo, dapat mag-antibiotic tayo. But antibiotic can also be found in GMOs. What are GMOs? GMOs are ito yung mga food na genetically manipulated. So in food plants, ito kumbaga parang hindi siya natural, hindi siya organic, genetically produced siya. So meron siyang antibiotics para hindi siya magka-pest, diba? Para hindi magka-pest, mga pesticides. So what happens here? So yung gut natin, yung intestines natin, if there's a lot of antibiotics already happening there, when something happens, like for example, a virus nga, or a viral infection, yung around us, iniisip, parang somebody's working already bakit pa ako magtatrabaho? Kasi akala nila yung antibiotic ng GMO nag-work for you, pero hindi talaga siya nakaka-help. That's why you get sick a little bit more. And here's next, inflammation. What is inflammation? Did you know that when you take in sugar or excess or big fatty food, it causes inflammation in your body. So when your body is very inflamed, it causes depressive mood, and it makes you feel full. So akala mo busog ka, pero hindi ka pala talaga busog. You are really empty inside. So it's very important to as much as possible stay away from sugar, or be mind, if you really have a sweet tooth, there are a lot of choices like cocoa sugar or agave syrup, ganyan. And try to stay away with brown or white sugar. Kung gusto mo talaga sugar, sige, muscovado sugar is good, right? But yun, try to stay away from excessive fats because it inflames your body. And when your body is inflamed, it doesn't respond immediately kapag meron stresses involved. And next is a good gut. So it's very important to have, yes, Dula Irina, correct, Hazel. Yes, siya yung nag-encapsulate. So a good gut is very, very important. So people will ask me, anong vitamins mo? So aside from good nutrition, actually, I just really take, or the family, even our kids, takes probiotics. So it's very important kasi if you have a good gut, it goes through your brain na it can have a connection there's really a connection with the good gut and the more clear thinking, parang mas naiintindihan mo yung mga nangyayari sa iyo, or like your brain functions. Your brain functions when you have a good gut. So that's very, very important. So here, I'm going to share with you in the next slide, ano ba yung diet that we should take? Ayan, pwede nyo nang screenshot. Can we show the next slide? Ito na yung mga, ano ba exactly talaga? So very important for you to take food with omega-3. So that's salmon, that's, pwede yung mga, meron may yung salmon encapsulations, or as much as possible, the real one. So salmon, ayan, mga other pa bang, ano pa mga omega-3 na fish, diba? And food with melatonin, so that's nuts, cheese, those are good. So if magsa-snacking ka, stay away from sugary, which is chips, and choose nuts or cheese, ganyan. You have to choose also food with zinc, kasi zinc is anti-inflammatory. So makikita mo rin, your body will also have more energy when you're choosing the right food. So when I was with Kalea, sobra akong sobra kong pinurge yung kitchen namin. I think tinanggal ko, binasa ko lahat ng labels. Pag hindi ko siya nababasa, take it out of your pantry and choose as much as possible more vegetables and more fruits, and you'll notice na you will have more energy and you'll have more parang mas long lasting yung feelings din natin of yung mga positive feelings natin. So it's very important also, ito naman, if you really feel that you need antidepressants, I'm not really totally against it, but there is actually a natural way of doing it. So the placenta encapsulations or the vitamin B. So minsan we lack vitamin B, so that's what we take in also. And as what I mentioned, pre and probiotics, because a good gut, 'di ba? Ano yung commercial ni Yakult before? Kamusta ka ba dyan? 'Di ba, Chad? So it's really true. As an adult, you need around 12 billion probiotics, yung lactobacilli, yung multiple ones. And then if you are sick, mga 25 billion. So probiotics is very, very important. Yes, kimchi. Yes, kimchi has. That's really good. Correct. You eat kimchi kapag gusto mo agad ng booster. So next slide, ayan, some more pa, is that bakit ba iwas na tayo sa more beef? Kasi hindi na tayo caveman. Before, kailangan nila yan kasi malamig, so kailangan nila mag-go fight. But pipili na tayo, and let's be more mindful with our diet. Kasi if we have a good gut, our brain and our health will be more connected. So ito, I gave suggestions on your food suggestions. Ayan. So as much as possible, makikita mo, parang dapat ata one very few lang ang meat, but mostly on talaga vegetables and fruits. So ako, what I do is I do juicing. So ito yung parang, sige, kahit anong juice at vegetables, sige, mix mo, maghanap-hanap tayo. Kasi you will notice, wow, mood uplifter siya. I really feel full and it really glows. And even our skin really glows. And our kids too. So naging habit na siya at home. So next naman, ayan. So we were able to talk about support system. We were able to talk about food, our medicine, and our habits. What's next? We also, if na-address mo na yan, anong susunod for us to address our deep feelings or deep depression? It's our identifying our root hurts and our root roots. I think this is a special time that you'll notice na it is actually it's actually an opportunity for you to rediscover yourself, and it's actually a great opportunity for you to also parang rediscover your relationship also with the Lord. So I have a group on Courage and Grief, and it's for those people who are going through bereavement and depression, and most of them are clinically depressed with medications din. And minsan nalulungkot din sila because I want to stay out of it already. And this is something that I am glad that you're really listening to this seminar, kasi syempre we want our baby blues not to linger to become depression, but if we understand it, then hindi na siya magpo-prolong. So for them, they want to stop medication as well, and this was a perfect opportunity to understand themselves. So this is the time that you ask the Lord. Then Lord, I think she's also asking you, where are you right now? And minsan nagtatanong tayo, Lord, bakit ganito ang hirap? Nasaan ka ba? It's okay to ask those questions. Bakit ganun? Kala ko ba madali maging magulang? Pero bakit ang hirap-hirap? And, you are not alone. And I say, diba, parang, Jesus also underwent through what you're going through. He understands you. When he was there at the garden, talagang he was there na parang he was really deeply depressed. The word depression was even there. Talagang he was really so depressed and deep emotion na it's as if his sweat was like blood. So sobrang intense emotion. So he understands what you're going through. And I want to remind you that though you feel alone, though you feel na parang nag-iisa ako, you are important and you are loved. And even if you feel na parang walang nakakaintindi, parang nape-pressure ako sa mga nangyayari sa akin na hindi ito yung gusto kong mangyari sa sa buhay ko, pagiging with my breastfeeding journey. Bakit parang ang hirap-hirap? You know, you are not alone. And I think when we feel ourselves that our security comes from Him, parang we get that assurance na, hey, I'll be able to be filled with the love so that I can love back my children then. And it's really true, you know, when we breastfeed, when we look at our children, we look at our baby, parang ito yung time na I think we see ourselves na minsan pag naging magulang tayo, mas naiintindihan na natin yung magulang natin, or mas naiintindihan na natin na, Lord, like ako parang when I look at my kids, shucks, parang ganito pala ako na nabigay ko na pero parang kulang pa rin. And maybe parang ganun din ako with you, God, na parang you already provided everything pero ang dami ko pa rin complaints, but you still did not give up on me. So if you did not give up on me, I don't want to give up on my baby, and I don't want to give up on breastfeeding, and I don't want to give up on this family. And we just continue to press on kasi you experiencing deep feelings is very valid because of what's happening on with your life, but it can also change. So recap tayo on our next slide. What are the three things that we discussed already? Psychotherapy, you need your support system because you need to purge out your pain, and then you need to share that pain. It's very important. So okay lang yun, like what you're doing right now, you are typing down what you're feeling. That is going to be very, very helpful. Journal, talk, if join groups, share it out because that's very important. That's how you're purging it and you're acknowledging where you are right now. Second is habits. It's be more mindful right now. So after this, go to the kitchen, check mo yung mga labels. So pag hindi mo siya nababasa, okay, i-dispose mo na lang siya because that can be an inflammatory to our body. So sugar and excess fat as much as possible, stay away from it, and choose vegetables and vegetables high in omega-3 for fishes, and juicing, you'll enjoy juicing. At first, parang ang hirap, paano ba to gawin? Pero you'll enjoy it. So kapag gusto mo mag-snacks, mag-invest na lang tayo sa snacks on mga fruits rather than mga chips. Ayan. So, next naman is our root hurt and our root roots. So, if we already acknowledge those two things, it's very important to also go through in our hearts. Hindi lang dapat sa labas na, okay, I have to be strong for me and my child, but holistically, our wellness also in our heart. It's very important to know kung ano yung wellness natin inside because we need to heal then inside. So identify what are your root hurts that's causing your triggers for your depression, and don't just stop there. Continue to identify and ask, Lord, what is your root truth for me? I feel alone, I feel unimportant, I feel unheard, I feel na nag-iisa ako, parang wala akong katulong dito sa journey ko. But what is your root truth? Your root truth is that you are important in Christ and that you were selected. You are the best mom to your child. Sa lahat ng pwedeng maging magulang niya, ikaw ang pinili niya para sa anak mo. Because you're the perfect one who will be able to make your child the kind of person that he wants him to be. And he needs you. You are so needed and you are so important. So my bonus is on the fourth and our last, guess, anong hulaan nyo? Anong kailangan nyo? On the last, let's show our last slide is to, ta-dan! Check natin, our last slide is to grow. How important it is. If we already know holistically our bodies, our mind, our habits with food, and our heart is healing, it's important to grow. Like what we're doing right now. 9 years ago, I was exactly where you are right now. Na hindi ko alam, new mom ako with all the pressures of life. And I'm still continuing to grow. I still don't know a lot of things. Ang dami ko pa rin kailangan matutunan. Pero just like you, continue to celebrate your wins and grow. You whatever natutunan mo, share it. But be sensitive also with how you share it. You ask questions. So when you grow, what you do is you bring back the person to what they knew all along. Minsan, you have another friend na parang ayoko na mag-breastfeed, parang hirap-hirap, parang nape-pressure ako, parang kailangan ba talaga ako mag-breastfeed lang, exclusive lang, or pwede ako mag-bottle, or pwede bang join? And instead of answering the question, how do we grow? Bring back that person to what she knew all along. Tanong mo lang siya, when you were pregnant, bakit ba, why did you want to breastfeed? And kasi like ako, I'm also formula feeding then. I am tandem, I am breastfeeding at the same time I'm also bottle feeding. So I did that for 2 of my children, my latter part. And the third din pala, si Ethan pala. So parang you have to, I let them hear themselves again kasi we came in as motherhood because we want the best, and we want ourselves to be healed as well as a mom, so that we can be a life giver to our children. So yon, make yourselves involved in this group. I hope this group will continue to be maingay in the group, and we continue to discuss like what our comment section is. Ang daming nagsha-sharing talaga. Continue to be involved and practice humility. Even if ang dami na nating na-experience, there's still so many things that we can continue to unlearn. And there's still so many products din to discover. Ang daming mga bagong products ngayon. Yung parang 9 years ago, ang hirap-hirap nga magkaroon ng mat. Ngayon, wow, ang dami ng mat options, mga pang-crawling mat. And next is you walk. Your story is very uniquely yours, and so is others. So, hear them out and walk with them and journey with them. It's very, very important to journey with other people. After this year, after this seminar, find someone, look for someone who may be breastfeeding, and then just check on them. How are you? And do you just want to call and talk? Lala, kamusta ka on your breastfeeding journey? So, ayan. So, recap, last page. I'm done with my presentation on postpartum depression. Just to recap, psychotherapy, make yourselves involved, especially like you are already in this group. This is already a good start. Continue to purge your pain. Your spouse is not your enemy. Hindi mo siya kaaway. You work together. So, minsan hindi lang talaga nila naiintindihan or hindi nila alam. So, kailangan natin sabihin sa kanila na, can I talk to you? Can you be my safe place? I just want to express what I'm feeling, and I just want to be heard. This is what I feel. Parang feeling ko I want to stop breastfeeding. Ano tingin mo? Parang, and then, you just need to share that. And then second, once you have that support group already, you have your family, you have your community, your relatives are also not your enemy. You can be a cycle breaker and make this opportunity of breastfeeding, bring your family together, your relatives together. And then second, you be more mindful with your habits, with what you watch in Netflix. Huwag masyadong zombie parate. And the songs that you listen to, be more mindful with your food. It's very important to explore all the kinds of food, but try to stay away with inflammatories, which is excess fat and high in sugar. And try to read your labels already. So in our house, I think the only condiment that we have is kikoman. So parang tinatakas ko na ata yung ketchup. pero as much as possible, it's really empty, and the kids are forced. And now, actually, they really enjoy. So, ngayon, kinakain nila rambutan, guyabano, kung ano-anong fruits na kakaiba, na, guyabano, guava, mga weird things, kinakain nila yan, ate. So, mga interesting. So, yun yung snacking mo. So, merong mga apps na pwede kang magpa-deliver lang, diba? Ganun mo na, karirin mo na yung mga ganun. No? Instead na mag-convenience store tayo na quick fix. Kasi those sugars make you think that you're full, but you're not. So, pag walang nutrition in your body, your brain neurotransmitters do not connect, and that's the reason why we have this deep depression also. So connected talaga, why we have stress, why we have with the food that we take. Stress tayo, kakain tayo. So kapag stress ka, kapag galit ka, don't eat. Parang breathe first. Pag huminga ka na, be more mindful with your choice of food na iti-take. Next is, I'm not totally against medicine. I'm not totally against antidepressants, but you need to get ask help or get a medical practitioner for that. And sometimes it just needs to be a reboot. So ako, I took antidepressant, but I think parang a short time lang just to reboot. And by God's grace ngayon, medically, hindi na, my eyesight is clear. I have less migraine. I don't have pre-diabetic anymore. Usually kasi if inflammatory would causes stress and depression, your sugar is high. And after that, once you have started to clean up, you're engaged with your community, you have better food choices, identify now your root hurt. You have to check out, purge what you're feeling. Ano ba talaga yung hurt mo inside that needs to be exposed? And once it's exposed, replace it with your root truth. And your truth is that you are important and that you are the perfect mom for your child. No one can replace you. And grow. So wherever you are right now, find someone that you can reach out to and not give the answers to, but journey with them, and that they won't feel alone as well. So I'm Feliz, Lucas. I'm still a mom who continues to grow. Hopefully, Lord willing, if He still wants another and to make our family grow another baby, why not? But siguro rest na muna kasi may limit din ang CS. But yeah, so I hope that I continue to meet you everywhere and check upon each other. So ang sarap to have a community, especially at this pandemic. So if you want to make chika lang, or minsan you're scared to talk to someone about deep depression and you're really just so scared to talk to your husband about it, you can message me then. So in the last slide, you can contact me in my Instagram. So I respond faster there. Feliz Lucas over at Instagram. If you can flip the slide lang on the last slide. Ayan, para they can see where they can contact me also. And on the Facebook, Today with the Lucas. But minsan mas mabilis kong makita agad yung Instagram. So if you need to talk to me any time of the day, I may be late in replying, but I will make every effort to reply. So I hope that you were encouraged with all the topics that you heard for today. Hindi tayo magiging ready every time, but we can be prepared. And I hope this webinar by Purest Lactation was able to do that for you, because we're in this together. Thank you, mommies. I hope it was helpful.
All right, thank you, Mommy Feliz. Again, very, very informative talk. I learned so much from you. Kasi alam mo, Mommy Feliz, ako rin, really, I experienced postpartum depression 3 months after giving birth. I had so many anxiety attacks. Lalo na nung, I don't know if the pandemic is also a factor kung bakit nadadagdagan yung anxiety na nararamdaman ko as a mom. So, yeah, so ang dami ring mga mommies ang na-experience yung same situation. So, now the floor is open for question and answer portion for Mommy Feliz. If you have any questions, please do comment down below on our comment section box. And again, we're inviting everybody to connect with our breastfeeding mothers and join our Facebook community, Breastfeeding Mommies. I actually sent the link on the comment section box already. As you can see on our screen right now, we have the Breastfeeding Mommies group. You can join. So everybody's welcome to join to learn more about breastfeeding. So I like about Mommy Feliz that you talk more about postpartum depression, kasi yun yung mga karaniwang na hindi na natin masyadong binibigyan ng pay attention or nape-pay attention ng mga mommies, kasi ang utak natin alagaan yung baby, alagaan natin yung anak natin, yung breastfeed natin sila, nahuhuli yung mga sarili natin, which in turn, it's really important that we also take good care of ourselves. And ang ganda nung sinabi mo, Mommy Feliz, that we should also acknowledge whatever we're going through. Diba, kung ano yung mga nararamdaman natin, it's also important that we have this support community group wherein we can express ourselves fully kung ano ba talaga yung mga nararamdaman natin. I'm very lucky to have my husband, Roger Cruz, because he's very supportive, lalo na dun sa journey ko during my postpartum depression. Grabe rin yung pinagdaanan ko, Mommy Feliz. Lahat na ng mga support ginawa ko, nagkaroon ako ng online coaching, lahat ng mga pwede. And of course, importante na si Lord sa life ko talaga. Yan, spiritual healing talaga, I can say, really helped me. So again, whatever works for you. Kasi iba-iba naman tayo talaga ng pinagdadaanan. Alright, so let's start, Mommy Feliz, para sa question and answer. Our first question is from, hold on, okay, from Heidel Andrea Bryan. What is the best way to stop depression?
Oh, okay. So, hindi siya immediate. So, just what I shared with you earlier. So, there are 4 things. So, first nga is to identify first your support group. You need to be able to have someone, a support group na or your spouse wherein he will be able to listen to you 24/7 kahit na sirang plaka na tayo paulit-ulit, okay lang, tanggap niya so that you'll be able to purge your pain. You need to verbalize it, journal it down, write it down, and verbalize it. Kailangan mo talaga siyang sabihin, hindi lang sa mind. Either write or verbalize it. After that, you go to your kitchen, purge. Kitchen, go to your kitchen, purge. If you're depressed, sometimes we want quick fix of sugar, quick fix of pizza, quick fix of carbs, pasta. But when we're emotional, that's where you need your support person to purge your kitchen. Try to, if you don't understand your ingredients, take it out and replace it first with nuts
Okay.
or fruits. Ayan. So, next
Alright,
is
so-
identify your secret. Yan. And then you grow. So, yan.
So if you have any more questions, you can actually follow Mommy Feliz on all of our social media platforms. So again, would like to thank Mommy Feliz. Thank you so much for your time, for sharing your story, and thank you for being such an inspiration to all the mamas out there. Thank you, Mommy Feliz.
If you have questions,
breastfeeding. Oh, there you go. So if you have any questions, you can actually message Mommy Feliz on her Instagram page. All right, everybody, to sum everything up, breastfeeding is empowering and fulfilling. It is about real love. It is about caring and celebrating the wondrous joy of nurturing a new life. It's about enjoying motherhood. So just trust your body that you can give all the right nutrients from your breast milk to your babies. The decision to breastfeed is a personal one. We're here to guide them and support all the mommies out there in their breastfeeding journey, but a mother should not be made to feel guilty if she cannot or chooses not to breastfeed. It's nice to know again that we have a lot of online support community groups. Also, the breastfeeding mommies or the breastfeeding mommies community group, mag-join na po kayo dyan. And that's really important because as a first-time mom in the midst of pandemic, talagang nahirapan din ako kasi limited lang din yung access ko. Alright, so yan mga mommies, for you to get free Purest lactation sample products, make sure to stay until the end of the live stream of our webinar so we can instruct you and announce the secret code that you can use to get our free trial pack of Purest lactation for everybody. So again, would like to thank everybody for attending this special webinar, and of course, a huge thank you to our dearest speakers for sharing their knowledge with us, all of us today. Lastly, a big thanks to Purest Lactation Drink. Maraming salamat. Alam nyo, partner ko rin ito nung nag-breastfeed ako kay Baby Joaquin. Ang laki po ng natulong nito sa akin. And thank you, Lactation Purist, for the opportunity to educate all the mamas out there. So more prizes await. So let's begin. Umpisa na natin. 3 winners lang. Go, go, go. Our first question, paunahan lang mag-comment sa aming comment section box. 3 winners of 1 box of coffee and 1 box of choco, and of course, the cute boob mug. First 3 commenters. Okay, our question, who are the 3 speakers who gave their speech in this event? Sino ba yung 3 speakers na nagbigay ng speech ngayon sa ating event? Alright, go, go, go. Comment down below your answers. So let's check kung meron na tayo mga nanalo. Alright, so we will be announcing the winners after our show. So again, just comment down below your answer. Who are the 3 speakers who gave their speech in this event and get a chance to win Lactation Purist, coffee, and chocolate drink with a boob mug. Alright, so ngayon marami na tayong nakikita. We'll just be announcing the winners on the Lactation Purist Facebook page. But here, our first commenter is Lan Bartosilio. Congratulations. Next is Chris Zel Aquino. Sorry, that's Rosel Rodriguez Ardales and Heidel Andrea Bryan. So I'm going to screenshot this. So lahat po ng mga na-announce ko na winners, again, please do message us so we can send you the details on how you will be able to claim your prizes. Alright, there you go. Thank you so much, everybody. Congratulations po sa lahat ng mga mommies. Thank you again, Purest, for this live webinar. Please do follow Purest social media accounts on Facebook and Instagram at Lactation Purest. You can try and order their delicious lactation drinks from their website at www.purest.ph and Shopee, Lazada, at Purest Company, or simply check the links posted on this webinar. For the chance to, of course, another chance na naman, ang dami talagang pinapamigay ng Purest lactation drink as a bonus to treat all the breastfeeding mamas because it's World's Breastfeeding Week. We will be giving you a free trial pack of Purest. Just go to their website, www.purest.ph, click to any flavor of Purest, then select the free trial kit, then add to cart, fill up with your delivery details, and put the code Supermom. So that's our secret code, Supermom, and then check out, and then you're done. Just wait for your delivery of your Purest sample kit. So one person entitled for one trial pack only. So there you have it. Maraming salamat po for joining us. Mga mommies, always remember that whatever we do for our kids is all worth it. It is enough, and you are enough. This has been your host, Mommy Dianne Medina-Ilustre, signing off. See you next time, mga mommies, and it's been a pleasure hosting this event. Have a good afternoon.